choke you down just like a pill. Oh yeah. Take you like a pill. Fill you like a pill to get my fill. No, 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 do me in the worst way. Don't let me sleep, never say you're sorry. Oh, maybe I'll leave, baby, but you know I never will. No, so I choke you down just like a pill. Oh yeah. Take you like a pill.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Collegiate R6. We are here once again with some fantastic Premier Invite League action. As always, my name is Jays Wills, and joining me tonight is not Barrett, as it may say under his name. This is, of course, Jagged, who is here in his CR6 debut. My friend, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Jay-Z. Yeah, this is my CR6 debut. It's been a fun week. Had my CEA debut this past Wednesday. Some good matches there, but I'm really excited for our match tonight. We got Akron going up against GCU, the Titans of the collegiate scene coming up against the West Coast hopefuls. I'm expecting some good games tonight.
This should be pretty solid. Last night, I had the pleasure of casting an enjoyable game, but it was over a bit sooner than I think many people would have liked. A 14-0 overall scoreline, not the most competitive environment to see. But tonight, I do think this one could be a lot different. Of course, you've got Akron, the team that everyone has wanted to beat for so long now, but the team that just refuses to lose. And you've got GCU, one of the very few teams considered in the pool of possible rosters to actually beat Akron, or at least take a map off Akron. But as anyone and every team in the scene will tell you, even the most experienced team out there, taking a map off Akron is not an easy feat.
Oh, for sure. Akron currently the most not dedicated but decorated roster in all of collegiate history. They've won so many things going through all the different leagues. They've won CR6 a number of times. They've won CRSL, CEA, and they're looking to win Face It this year too. But so I'm sure it's going to be really, really good. But they are going up against GCU, like we noted. They do have one of the best Monties in collegiate coming up against Cheeks. He showed that on Wednesday in their match, so I'm sure he's going to try to pull that out again tonight.
Well, let's actually see where we're going to end up doing battle between these two fantastic teams and take a look at our map bans. Of course, coming out starting off, a coastline pick is going to be Akron's map choice. Clubhouse, our second, and a potential decider on either theme park or villa. I can't be completely certain. Let's assume villa. We got an image of villa and we got the words of theme park. But we're going to say, given the likelihood that villa is in the pool and just played so often, we're going to see villa as that decider map. But to start out on coastline, for a team like Akron, that is definitely their home field, to say the least. This is a team with incredible gunners, incredible talent, and I mean, Coastline is just the map for that kind of style. They play loose, they play fast, and they just click your head faster than you can say, please don't click my head, or something like that. But just to see how GCU can respond on map one, I think is going to be a really good indicator of their success on Clubhouse. Clubhouse is a map that they've been incredibly strong on before. Last week, their victory against UT Dallas on a map that UT Dallas also excels on. They beat UTD on Clubhouse. So that is impressive stuff. They're definitely feeling good on this map, but you have to feel really good to beat a team like Akron. Jagged, do you think they have what it takes tonight? Can someone finally dethrone the Titans?
I think the potential's there, but they're going to have to work really hard. Going into Coastline, that is Akron's main map. That is one of the maps they are best known for, especially if GCU goes ahead and bans Ash, because then you'll just see a Blackbeard coming out from IMAT the entire time. That's not something you want to go up against. You already don't want to go up against IMAT in a normal gunfight, but if he has that face shield in front of him, there's no way you're winning that. And then going into Clubhouse, GCU may be really good at Clubhouse, but I know Akron has some really strong stuff here. So GCU, they may take all three maps, but I think there is a chance that we could see a GCU tight victory coming out here tonight.
Well, the good news is we're not going to have to wait much longer. We can send it right on in to map number one, Coastline, the place where everything will begin. Now, Jagged, I don't know about you, but I've watched quite a few Akron games on Coastline. They've beaten even some of the best in terms of the Coastline teams that you'd expect, like Purdue, teams out there like Texas Tech as well, who are gunners just like Akron. But when it comes to playing loose, playing frag heavy, there really isn't a team out there and players out there better than IMAT, better than JetCon, Hennessy, Surma. It is so hard to perform well against Akron, even on a map that you can generally be so comfortable on. I don't know how much work GCU has done to prep for this matchup, but I am confident that they definitely would have had to prep for Coastline if they want to have any hopes of taking this one here. But now that we are well underway into our ban phase, we're starting to get a better picture of exactly what kind of Coastline we are going to deal with. The Nomad ban to kick things off, followed by that Ace ban, a more surprising ban on Coastline given the lack of necessity of pulling out those hard breachers, but two strong bans to kick things off.
Oh, for sure. Having that Nomad off the board is going to be a really strong thing for the defenders, especially. Just considering you're going to be able to do a lot more of those runouts that you like to see. If Valk doesn't get taken off the board in this last ban by GCU, which I would hope, since they are going to ban the Nomad, they're going to go ahead and ban the Valk too. But if they don't, you're going to see a whole lot of Valk runouts coming out tonight with that Nomad ban. And that Ace that you mentioned, bit obscure, but I do expect seeing a lot of hard, like sometimes you'll see a hard breach ban on this map just because you have the Ace and the Habana coming up, two hard breachers that you don't have to be up against the wall to use your explosives on. They are ranged hard destructors, and having both of them up can be really potent for an attack, but having only one of them up is going to be a little bit better. But we are not going to see the Valk ban, though we are going to see a Malusi ban. So I'd be on the lookout for Valk picks and for information runouts, as we like to call them.
Well, it does seem that we are going to see the first hard breacher actually pulled out by Akron on this attack. You've got Arv, who's pulling out the Habana. On the defensive side for GCU, we are seeing pretty much the standard stuff here, but because the Malusi and the Clash ban, Mira, oddly enough, has been left on the table. This is a pretty big deal for Coastline because it really shapes the way this entire map is forced to unfold. As an attacking team, there are so many more steps you have to go through, whether that's securing vertical, whether that's approaching from another side to establish an early crossfire. Dealing with those mirror windows can just be so detrimental to even the strongest of attacks. And I think Cheeks bringing that out, definitely a motivating factor, slowing down Akron if possible, because if you can play this as that more typical slow rolling site, this kitchen bomb site to kick things off, maybe that's exactly what GCU need to do here. Obviously, we've got Klimps on the Valkyrie, Mend on the Smoke. Interesting to see Klimps not pulling out the smoke. We all know how talented he is as an SMG-11 player, instead utilizing those Valk camps. We just saw him place one there outside the service door.
Yeah, that Valk cam is not one that I typically see often. Usually when you see one, they get thrown like either sky high or really far out to try to get a super wide point of view. But this one is kind of focused in on a very narrow area, being that service door. And if there's someone at that service door, and you could have a defender sitting above in that penthouse if it does not get cleared, that could be an easy jump out kill for one of the defenders here of GCU. But we are going to see a push in here from the office coming out from Hennessy on that Buck. Buck not having any frag grenades since almost a year ago now. It'll be about a year come May. So his usefulness, or his pick rate has dropped quite a bit. But on Coastline, he's still pretty quintessential given the fact that he gives that upper vertical destruction.
Well, we're going to see Cash on the Valk cam. He's identified the position of JetCon as the Zofia works their way on in from Sunrise. But in the meantime, Meatstick is the first kill on the board, or finds the first kill on the board. That is going to be Arv, the first player to drop on out. Surma will get the refrag, taking down Cash. The retaliating blow is there, as it didn't seem that even though Cash knew the position of a couple of those early attackers, that would help him at all. The push up the Cool Vibe stairs was too much for the Jaeger to handle. So a little bit of this roam has already been dealt with, but the other roamer, that comes in the form of Klimps. Now crouching his way up towards the vase, but a swing from Surma. The information was there, and a double kill now delivered for the Gridlock.
Yeah, having that LMG, you wouldn't expect Surma to be swinging like that, but he's confident in his gunplay, and with the information available to him, he's able to make that swing and push. Hennessy, though, going for that plant, sticking by the kitchen door, but a C4 comes out from Meatstick, and that's going to get the plant off. And while a kill comes out from University of Akron, the plant is going to be attempted again, but the angles are being held. However, the smoke is going to down the planter of Surma, so it's now 2v1. Akron going for that plant one more time, as Mendes gonna have to push up, deal with this player on the window, misses the shots though, and he needs to get that planter. He gets the planter, but not before the plant's gone down. It's now a 1v1 post plant, and I'm at not going to let men even get close to that diffuser. Round number 1 goes to Akron.
Well, Coastline will be Coastline. And there is strategy, of course. You want to set up these sites and approach these sites in a pretty disciplined and methodical manner. But at the end of the day, this map, more than others, is going to come down to those 1v1 engagements. And when Akron is let loose on the bomb site, those are engagements that are, more often than not, going to fall into their grasp. That's exactly what they did in round 1. We saw the really clean roam clear go down early. 2 players on GCU hoping that aggression would be their answer. And although on Coastline, it tends to be the very answer one team is looking for, Akron shut that down. They punished the over-aggression and those rotations on that top floor, allowing them to just roll on into that site with the early man advantage, never losing it when that execute actually came down. The gridlock play is interesting coming out from Surma. Of course, you have the Nomad ban, and that is probably what is encouraging the gridlock pick, and it is designed to fill the role of the Nomad, locking off those flanks. I mean, of course, you can't permanently lock them off as those tracks are always visible and they can be shot out, but as a defender, trying to rotate, go for a flank, you can't really afford to do so when you have to shoot out all of those track stingers sitting in your way. And even that there was a gridlock on the board, we didn't see those track stingers utilized, I think, as early and as widely as we would have expected. That gave GCU the opportunity to go for the flanks, but in fact, those very opportunities gave GCU tunnel vision, right? They got a bit aggressive. They approached on that Cool Vibes position 2 separate occasions, both of which Surma was ready for and ready to shut on down. IMAT also finding 2 kills, a brilliant way to start for this attacking team.
Oh, for sure. Getting a very solid round on the board, Akron did, and we are going to move into round number 2 now, as we are going to see a hookah defense. So, no kitchen. GCU deciding that's not where they want to go right now, so they're going to go upstairs. But Klimp's on that roam downstairs. He's going to get pinched out from below, though. He spotted the 2 drones underneath that saw him, so he needed to get back, but he could not get back up the stairs in time. And an unadvised peek from Cheeks is going to leave him down. I'm out with the first kill, but has not secured the second. Well, he secured a second one this time, but it's a different player now. On to Ben. That's your smoke off the board. And Cheeks is now down to about 20 HP. So I'm at doing real good work this round, and we're not even a minute and a half in.
Yeah, another brilliant start for Akron. I mean, that is just not the way that GCU wanted to come out of the gate. No doubt motivated by the idea that maybe we can find some early picks, some early aggression, but Akron are punishing them. They've done it in 2 rounds, and they show no signs of stopping. Cheeks as well has been cut down to about 20 HP, and this GCU, the defensive force, is starting to dwindle even more so. Cash, he's extended off of this bomb site. So is Meatstick. The option of playing vertical is there, or I guess playing horizontal, as Surma is going to be caught out, not fully aware of the position of the Valkyrie. I'm at missing a couple of shots there, uncharacteristically so, but eventually reining it back in and finding the triple kill on the round for the Ash main. Cheeks hoping to pull this one back, now dancing back and forth, instead getting cut down by Hennessy, not before Cash finds one, now the double, the swing on in into Aqua, teasing the diffuser for just a moment, but IMAT, the beast that he is, rounds out the 4K and wins the round for Akron.
Yeah, 4K it was. It was almost an ace. If he had managed to just get one more bullet into that down player of Cheeks on those Cool Vibe stairs, we could have easily been looking at an ace situation here for Imad. But he's going to get the 4K nonetheless with an assist to boot. Very, very good round coming out from Akron on that hookah attack. Ash proven lethal, not to mention the Bucket Hennessy doing the work when he needs to. With the bomb going down and all of their players just working together in seamless harmony. But we are gonna retry hookah, it looks like, though. Cheeks coming out on that dock. He's been promoted. He's gonna go for a little bit more of that aggressive engagement. Try to get a pick back early because GCU has been losing these early engagements and then putting themselves at a lower man count. They don't have the man advantage, and it's just making Akron's life a lot easier because on the defense of Coastline, having a negative man disadvantage, I mean, you're already pressured being on coastline defense just due to the nature of the map. But at a man disadvantage, it becomes an even more pressurized situation, and it forces you to almost have to swing to try to get that man advantage back in your favor, which can cause a spiraling effect that can just make your round go worse and worse, and ultimately cost you multiple rounds in the game.
I think this is not quite unexpected, honestly. I mean, Akron to come out of the gate and take 2 rounds, that is pretty much the Akron way, especially on coastline, even against a team like GCU. Every single round, really, needs to be utilized by GCU as a learning experience. Not for the future. I mean, for this game. They need to look at each Akron attack and figure out a way to counter it. And obviously that's something that's not easy to do, but they need to take every single round and pay as close attention as possible to how Akron are pushing in. If you just have an idea of where, for example, IMAT is making his entry every single round, you'll have a good idea of just the small things you might be able to do to slow this attack down. Because Akron, the speed of these attacks, the fury with which they take map control, it is something that every single team out there struggles to actually get under wraps. That's why we're seeing this roam. That's why we're seeing Meatstick play in blue bar here, but a crossfire had already been established. Hennessy rotating around towards security, cutting him down, getting that early pick. IMAT, the follow-up, now onto Klimps, and once again, GCU, they're down the man count. Cash finds 1 to bring things back. A pretty good shot there towards Sunrise Bar on a JetCon, but not the way GCU wanted to start.
Yeah, Arv did have that cutoff established. He was able to get that refrag on his teammate of JetCon, but it's now a 4v2 in favor of Akron. GCU is going to be sweating here all up to your smoke and your dock. Really, it's just going to be up on your dock in the long-range engagements, since Men does have that SMG-11, but he's going to go for a little bit of a swing. Going to try to swing luggage. He's just going to sit here behind the Aqua Barb. He's going to get a little bit more aggressive and get caught out from Arv in luggage. All up the cheeks now on that dock. No longer has that 2.0, has that 1.5 on that MP5. But he's in a really bad situation. A 1v4 against the University of Akron. I don't think anyone wants to attempt that. And IMAT's going to get cheeks before he can even start the clutch attempt. University of Akron with another round.
Continuing that momentum. Just hammering in round after round. I wish there was more to talk about, really, about the overall strategy that both of these teams are employing. Akron coming in from below. They want to play vertical on this bomb site. They want to clear out these roamers. They're doing it excellently. GCU, they're trying to roam. They're trying to get these big gunners. You've got Cash on the roam. Even Klimps has been on the roam as well. Meatstick, they're all trying to find some early traction just within each round. I think the mentality that they're approaching this series, and albeit I think the right one, is to come into each round going, we have to throw everything we have at Akron, challenge them early, get things dealt with early, and maybe that early man advantage forcing Akron onto the back foot can be the way that GCU take the round, because the back foot, that's not somewhere where Akron are used to being in this collegiate scene, right? They are used to just rolling people over, smacking them around, and maybe if you could put them on the back foot, they won't be able to recover. However, given the way that these 3 rounds have unfolded, and given the fact that we do like to maintain some semblance of reality when we talk about this, the likelihood of GCU to bring this one back, I think that they should probably go for more default setups, right? Maybe at this point you want to play a bit more passively. The aggression, it's clearly not working. Maybe it's time to just sit back and force Akron to take extra time to clear you out. Because even though they've been going for these roams, Akron have actually been able to take the map faster than they would have otherwise, because once they deal with the roams, which they've been doing quite expeditiously, there is far less resistance on the actual bomb site for the execute. That forces GCU to get a bit awkward and out of position, and it forces them to make some decisions that I don't think they would be making otherwise. That's already what we're seeing here, though. The same story as the previous rounds. We've got Cash on the aggressive roam. His position is known. It's just a matter of time before Akron figure out a way to deal with him.
Yeah, he's been caught out on cam this entire round that he's been inside the Sunrise. You saw that yellow ping coming out when he was sitting by that Sunrise window. IMAT's going to hop in and take care of him. And multiple trades come out, one for each team, though. So man advantage stays in the favor of Akron, but GCU did manage to get a pick back in their favor. Like I was saying, inside of Sunrise Bar, that Jaeger of Cash was caught out the entire time, and that roam just isn't really working out for him right now. You mentioned they need to play a little bit more passive. They've tried being that aggro style because it's Akron on coastline. It's their map pick. It's their home turf. You know that you're going to have to do something to try to bring the aggression to them. But Arv is going to pick off Meat Stick inside of Lobby, and he's going to get a second on the Klimt. So now it's all up to Mend again. But Arv will not get the third as Mend picks off Arv. The Habana coming in from that bathroom entrance. It's now all up to Mend in the 1v3. And he's got 3 almost full HP members of Akron to get through. So not going to be an easy round, but he does still have 2 of those gas canisters left since he has just thrown one of them out. Maybe playing close here on this kitchen door could do something for him. He's just going to play with the SMG-11. No shotgun yet. We do see Surma snake crawling inside a jungle, just waiting to find the right angle. You see, here comes Jetcon on the window, opens it up. Zofia, Men misses his shot, and Jetcon will finish him off. That's round 4 for Akron. 4 in a row now on their attack half.
Akron continuing it on the pressure. The big guns, they're here. They're rolling. No signs of stopping at all. GCU, they are, so far, they've discovered one thing, right? That the roam isn't working. And it is time to change it up. Obviously, Akron is Akron, and it's going to be hard to find any success with any sort of strategy, but you have to stay with what you know. You have to look at this situation and go, what have we done for 4 rounds, and why hasn't it worked? And maybe the roam isn't the only reason why. Maybe the anchors aren't vibing as much. Maybe the comms are not there. But you have to look at this situation and go, we haven't won these rounds. What difference can we make? And an obvious difference, one that is, I think, the most apparent, will be to restrict that roam a little bit. Bring it back to site, play a bit closer to the vest per se, and prevent Akron from getting these early, seemingly free kills. I mean, they're definitely not free, but Akron are making it look that way. Their information game is just so strong. Their coordination and their ability to cut off the rotation of roamers once they know their position is incredible to witness. GCU have not changed anything yet. The fact that we're seeing an alibi now brought out from Cheeks doesn't make me all that confident that we're going to see a GCU change here. Cash, just stay closer to the bomb site. Same thing goes for Klimps. Maybe that can be your change, but even if it's not, right? Even if that's not going to work, you can't knock it until you try it. You've got to try to bring out the strategy that you haven't done so far. And in round number 5, I don't think we're seeing much of that difference.
I don't think so either. The alibi pick doesn't spell not necessarily confidence, but it doesn't necessarily spell extra strategy. It just spells more gunfight taken. Alibi has that MX4 Storm. It's a good gun, not the optimal gun to have in a firefight, but it's very comfortable for people who know how to use it. But Mend is going to go down early to Arv. I believe that was either inside the bomb site, but IMAX going to get a second on the Klimps, and we're already at a 3v5. Make that a 3 or a 5v2 now as IMAX gets a second on the Cash. And a 5v1, it could be a flawless round here from Akron. And we're only a minute into the round. It's all up the cheeks on that alibi that we were talking about earlier. And he has a lot of work to do if he wants to win this round out. He's got 2 minutes to stall, prevent the diffuser from going down. Is he going to get one? He's got the down onto the bucket Hennessy. But there it is, Surma with the finisher. Flawless round coming out from Akron.
Impressive job there once again. Their quickest round yet. They are just increasing their pace every single round. They've realized what GCU are doing, and every single time it's getting easier for them to actually storm in and take it. Like I was saying, I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but GCU, stop it. Just stop it, right? Do something else, because what you're doing, it's not working. And you got to realize that at some point. Akron is Akron, and they are going to be unbelievably strong no matter the situation. Of course, we all understand that, but it just isn't a good look for GCU right now to be coming in there and be pulling out the very same strategy that has so far been giving them the very same results. Sure, it's coastline. Sure, it's attacker-sided, but it's not 5-1 attacker-sided, nor is it 6-0 attacker-sided. But tonight, It just seems that Coastline may simply be Akron-sided, something that I've said quite a few times, because no matter the map, no matter the situation, this just stacked team is going to come out and just throw you through a loop. Finally, we are going to see this tertiary bomb site of Blue Bar and Sunrise, so this is good to see GCU pulling out something a bit different. You've got the Wamai, that's a little bit of a change, but we have to actually see it unfold in their play style. Big picture strategy, and the way they set up this bomb site, it will help them for sure, but they need to be positioning just a little bit better.
Yeah, I want to see where Men places that shield from that smoke, because normally sometimes you see it in that corner on that bomb chassis, but if he's not going to place it down, he just placed it down facing towards jungle. Okay, so I see what he's going to do. It's going to pour Meat Stick sitting behind that Sunrise bar, and I assume there's some Wamai magnets perhaps protecting it, maybe an ADS, but I saw at least one ADS in kitchen with Cash and Klimps. They're going to try to hold down that entry point from that service entrance, but Hennessy and JetCon are already inside an office, and it looks like they want to go for an office blue bar execute. They don't want to go for a Sunrise take. And JetCon's just going to go ahead and start opening up this wall. There's no mute on the side of GCU, so that wall can be open for literally free. But Cash holding that rotate, Arv now gone. So he gets, or it's Cheeks rather. He's sitting in the lobby. But Hennessy now, so that's 2 for Cheeks. As he's gotten a double kill here in CCTV. He takes about half of his HP from those track stingers, but he's going to fall back outside of CC. And now Surma is just waiting for that reswing. Meanwhile, I'm on the opposite side of the map. He's going to try to push in from the Master Penthouse. But here comes Cheeks on 1 HP, swinging with a pistol. The Surma, but Surma gets that reload off in time. And there goes Cheeks. So, man advantage still for GCU. But this is the best we've seen from them so far this match.
Why did Cheeks have to do that? I am utterly confused. Completely and utterly. The kills falling for Akron right now. Good on them, but GCU, what was that decision from Cheeks? There's nothing you can do to support that. I'm at solidifying the certainty of this round, cutting down Klimps, and now leaving Meatstick at 1 HP. The line of sight established from Courtyard, but Meatstick's actually able to circumvent that. Here comes that C4. JetCon, though, will dart away just in time. Flash Grenade's going to get caught by the Wamai magnet, so full flashed, but it simply doesn't matter. The face is staring at the ground anyway, and the plant will now go down. Attempting the retake there is Meatstick, but JetCon shuts it down, and Akron will take round number 6. Now, I gotta highlight that play from Cheeks once again. Obviously, great job from both Cash and Cheeks to get 2 early picks. That was the first time ever in this series we have seen GCU come out to a tremendous man advantage. It was a 5v3. But in a 5v3, what did Cheeks decide to do? Swing the angle and literally throw his life away. When you're on 10 HP, walking into gridlock track stingers in a pistol in your hand, I don't know how much confidence you have going into that gunfight. Regardless, Cheeks was feeling good, and while that wasn't the sole reason GCU lost the round, that kind of idea, the early aggression paying off and then only more aggression coming off after it, that is the concept that cost GCU the round. When you get out to an early lead like that, against a team that you have so rarely held a lead against, why not play that like it is? It's a 5v3. Rotate back to the bomb site, huddle up with your teammates, and just play it like a 5v3 from the start. Because that's essentially what it would have been. It would have been Akron, 2 men down, walking into 5 hungry defenders on the bomb site. It sounds like a tough situation for the attack because it definitely would have been. Instead, GCU chose to continue that aggression, lost the round as a result, giving Akron the 6-0 lead and now taking them over to match point.
Yeah, at some point you just gotta know when enough is enough on the aggression side. You got the 2-man advantage. You don't wanna risk losing that advantage. But we did see that advantage just get thrown away. And towards the end of that round there, we saw Klimps just prone in blue bar by where the breach would have been on that reinforced wall, and he just got immediately shut down by IMAT. You just gotta wonder what he was doing sitting in blue bar right there. Why wasn't he in Sunrise holding from afar? Why wasn't he in kitchen holding across? But I mean, we can speculate all we want, but the matter of the fact is GCU had the man advantage, but they threw the round away, and now they're down 6-0 on Akron's map pick. And this is a very good map for Akron. but it's definitely going to sting when you go 0-6 on your defensive half on any map. But we are going to see, moving into the round now, Akron on their first defensive round could be their only defensive round if they hold off this push for 2 more minutes. Clips, though, going to get the opening pick on the R of IMAT with immediate trade on the meat stick. So we're sitting at a 4v4, just over 2 minutes left. But once again, this is the best we've seen GCU so far. This is their first attack, but they've seen a lot more confident. They have to get the picks. They have to be on the aggressive this time. And Clips is just going to walk in. He spots the Mozzie of IMAT inside of Sun, but IMAT's just going to fall back into security, waiting for that push. And then another trade coming out from Hennessy. So we're down into a 3v3, but there's still so much of this round left. We're just about to hit the halfway point of the round. Mem's still in spawn. He's been droning this entire time. That's really interesting to see. Good work from him as a support player. But with a minute and a half left, we still have half the round to go. IMAT's not been down, though. And this is looking like a GCU round.
Yeah, this could be their first one here. Men getting Surma. That is leaving this one into pretty much a 1v3. Hennessy, though, the clutch master. If there's anyone you want in this situation, it is the Wamai. We have Cheeks. He's just going to smoke grenade IMAT until his death, making sure to keep things loose and fun. So definitely a good sign of GCU's mentality, still holding strong, but now is where it has to actually unfold into action. Mentality will be what it will, but you actually have to execute on this bomb site and actually have to take down Hennessy, which, as he is proving, easier said than done. Finally, Cash will use that R4C and finally take the round. Great job from GCU to find round number 1 on their attacking side.
Their first round of the game so far, it doesn't come on their defense, but it comes when they needed it most. No 7-0 for them. They're going to try to crawl this back piece by piece, bring it to overtime. But since it is on the attack, anything is possible. I have seen crazier matches on crazier maps. So don't count GCU out of it just yet. But like you were saying, their mentality, obviously good. Cheeks throwing in a little bit of that disrespect with that smoke grenade kill onto IMAT. He wanted his kill. He wanted his BM. But so you got to think that GCU, even with that, showing that off, they're in good spirits. They know what they're up against on this map. They're just ready to bring it to club. And so I assume we're going to see them keep the spirits high, do what they can to crawl this back, but no pressure if it doesn't happen. An unfortunate impact grenade coming out from Surma knocks IMAT in the face, taking about half of IMAT's health and about a quarter of his own. So if you're a GCU fan, this is great because now you have IMAT down at 50 HP. That's 2 less bullets he's going to take. But it's looking good. It's looking good for Akron nonetheless. They're on defense on their map pick. They're up on match point already. They got to win 1 in the next 5 rounds. That's, I would say that's impossible to throw, but I've seen throws harder. But I don't expect Akron to do that. It is Akron. They are the T3 dominators inside of Collegiate. So we're just going to have to see what happens.
I suppose it's possible, especially given that IMAT and Surma are now fighting this round at a little bit less than their full capability, now that the unfortunate impact grenade that you mentioned has entered into the lobby. But it appears that Arv is looking to have a swift response, possibly a spawn peek over on the Aqua Balk. As a smoke, a ballsy move, to say the least. You don't want to lose your smoke and your big plant denier pretty early on, but I think Akron, they are just feeling extremely confident right now, and, well, for good reason. They have looked so strong. They have only lost 1 round, and it was a round where everyone was just sprinting all over the map, running and gunning in typical coastline fashion. Already we're seeing GCU make some good progress here. You got a player in Kitchen. You got Klimps trying to work their way in from Sunrise, but you've got JetCon now caught in a precarious crossfire between Sunrise and Kitchen. Doesn't look like one that JetCon can get out of without dying. Arv is actually also going to go down. The aggression on the Aqua side not paying off, but should be in a position to get back on their feet. But look at this. It's been a minute and 15 seconds here, and JetCon has not been dealt with. In fact, he's going to go for the swing, cutting Cash down to about 40 HP. JetCon still a nuisance to this attack. Nobody has found enough bullets onto this Jaeger to make this one happen. Finally, Cash will secure the kill, but at what cost? 90 seconds off the clock, 90 HP off of Cash, and you still have quite a bit of utility to deal with.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that Klim's actually got a little bit of that spray damage through the wall in that last swing from JetCon. He's down to about 80 HP, so nothing to write home about, but just something to know. He may be a little bit weaker in a gunfight. Cheeks, though, he's really weak now. In fact, he's 6 feet under the ground as Arv takes him out with a snipe from the SMG-11. Arv, as you noted, got downed earlier, but he was able to be recovered. Having your smoke up in the last minute of a round, especially the last 30 seconds of a round, is going to be huge for any defensive team to choke out a plant quite literally due to his toxic smoke canisters. But it does look like GCU wants to go for a hookah style attack, pushing in from this hookah balcony. Clint fires a stun off, just trying to see if there's anyone there. And here comes that first gas grenade. Arv, though, taken out, so the first will be his last. What was left of Arv off the board now. So about 30 seconds left. We're about ready to go into this final execute. Men sitting on this window.
30 seconds now. Akron on the back foot, hoping to bring this one back, but impossible now that Meatstick, Cash, and Klimps just light up the scoreboard. GCU collapse on the bomb site, take 2 rounds in a row. A round characterized by a little bit more of that methodical take from GCU, one that we really haven't seen at all in this series. Akron, they were aggressive. GCU, they started out aggressive on their attack, but when they pull out a bit of a slower take, more methodical approach, things actually ended up going in their favor. Some would think, you know what, it's only a matter of time before Akron find this last round, but the impact of these rounds, I think, is a little bit more significant than you may think. Going into a map that GCU are quite strong on, unlike Coastline, going into Clubhouse, just going in there with a couple of rounds under their belt instead of being completely shut out, I think there is something quite important to that kind of mentality, that in the way that it will affect your team. I mean, nobody is going to want to go into their own map pick having been unable to win a single round against their opponents so far. So even if this ends here or ends in the next round, GCU, I'd say they've done enough to regain a little bit of that momentum and a little bit of that confidence. They can come into some of these gunfights, letting a player like Cash just swing on through and click heads as the Ash. I mean, that right there is a pretty significant change for GCU. And even though this one could end soon, I do think that this is pretty solid stuff from GCU. Just 2 rounds, job well done.
Oh, for sure. Anything that GCU is getting right now is just morale booster, showing that we can get some rounds off of Akron on their best map. We can sure go into our map and do just as well, if not better. We can win our map and bring it to that decider of Villa. And then so we're going to see them continue just, try to have some fun. They know what they're up against on this map, but they're playing their attack really well so far. That last round was kind of dominant from them. Ended up being a 1v3 or a 1v4 in those dying seconds of the round. And so GCU is just going to keep building off of that and try to keep that momentum flowing as they go into this attack onto Kitchen, though. We are going to see that Hall of Fame door already open. There's a player playing either in Vase or in that backside of VIP. Couldn't quite tell. It is JetCon playing and Vase, pushing up that VIP hall now. Could have been caught out from the courtyard there if there had been someone sitting on that roof. But GCU's just annihilating stuff through that window. And Arv, waiting for that jump in, misses the shot. Only damages about 20 HP to Cash. But he's now aware there's someone watching underneath. But JetCon's still sitting in billiards, so he's just going to wait for the flank opportunity to present himself. He's not going to get overly aggressive yet. He doesn't want to give away that even man count in an opening pick, though. I'm just sitting here in theater waiting for someone to come to him. He's just going to hold a long angle, but there's the flank from JetCon. He picks off Cash. That's your Ash off the board. A lot of explosive down, and IMAT's also going to get a little bit more aggressive as he pushes up to this theater door. Sees that Sledge at Cheeks swing, but he's going to get wall banged by Cheeks. No more IMAT this round with a minute and a half to go.
A rare mistake coming out from Akron. IMAT definitely overstaying his welcome. His position was known. He was surrounded by a crossfire with a bunch of soft walls, and there was really no way for him to play that position any longer. Instead, hoping to get his gun skill to shine through, but something that just was not allowed to happen. Arv is going to say goodbye in this round. Klimps finds himself in the middle of the bomb site. The patented Klimps just jump on in through the kitchen window. We've seen him do this ample times, and it actually worked. He got 1 kill, but he wasn't able to get much more. Hennessy finally shutting him down. That's going to turn this lobby back into a 3v3. 50 seconds on the clock, ample time still for GCU to get this information and actually get this execute going. But look at this drone economy. They only have one drone left. That's in the hands of Cheeks. So this information is going to be a lot harder to acquire than they would like. They can take as much time as they need, but it's simply just going to be darting back and forth, swinging a couple of angles, trying to figure out exactly where Akron is positioned. We can see Surma. He's in main lobby. He's got a line of sight onto this service door, and because of that, we got a little bit of a rotation from GCU. Meatstick finds himself on the kitchen window. Cheeks finds himself still on the vertical play, and with only 15 seconds left, it needs to get going now. Here comes the jump in. Meatstick finds one. That's a good night for Hennessy, but Cheeks also finds the grave. Surma making that one happen. Oh no, the plant's going down. Surma here to capitalize. Yes, he will. JetCon gets one as well. Akron take round 9 and finish off Coastline in a pretty easy fashion.
Yeah, good round coming out from Akron to close this map. And you know that those last 30 to 40 seconds of Akron just trying to hold down the bottom side. You only had Hennessy on site for a majority of that, sitting in the back by that jungle door. But you did have JetCon still on those School Vibe stairs, waiting for that flank opportunity. And you actually saw Hennessy impact that wall inside a bathroom. That way Surma could watch it from the main lobby. It was a great angle hold coming out there from Akron. You obviously saw the buck of men crawl in at a snail's pace, coming through on that prone, just trying to get to that reinforced wall to plant the bomb. But ultimately, JetCon and Surma were able to manage to find those last 2 kills. Bomb didn't go down. It's an easy win out for Akron.
I really do like what they did there. They played that one a bit more passively. They backed off of the bomb site, allowing GCU to push on in, and, well, Akron shut it down. So a great job for them. We do have map 2 coming right up. That's that's Clubhouse. We just saw Coastline. Clubhouse, GCU's pick. Hopefully, we'll see it go down a bit closer. We always want to see that competitive action. We will be taking a quick break, though, so stick with us, and we will be right back.
go so fast, all tied up like a captive. I want you. Used to pit in my mind like standing on rainbows, playing it cool. I haven't felt this in ages, and I've no patience. So won't you please stay a bit longer? You're making me stronger, making me stronger. Stay a bit longer. You're making me stronger, making me Ain't no luck finding real love. Gotta know where to look. Time moves fast, and I've grown up. Yeah, I want to. Used to pit in my mind like standing on rainbows, playing it cool. I haven't felt this in ages, and I've no more patience. So won't you please stay a bit longer? You're making me stronger, making me stronger. Stay a bit longer. You're making me stronger, making me What can I do to make you stay a little longer? You're making me stronger, making me stronger. Stay a little longer. You're making me stronger, making me stronger.
Welcome back, everyone, to Collegiate R6. We have Akron going up against GCU. We're heading straight into map number 2 on Clubhouse. We just finished a banger of a series on Coastline. Akron's map pick, taking it 7-2, closing out that nice and pretty. But we are going to get here into Clubhouse now. Jay-Z, how did you feel about that Coastline match?
Well, I think I did make my feelings quite clear. GCU, they almost, I'd say, could have made a comeback. You know, we saw a couple of questionable things from them, though, some lack of adjustments that I would have liked to see. So, in that regard, in terms of pivoting and making your adaptations on the fly, I think that's where GCU need to focus their attention here on Clubhouse. Even though this is their map pick, a map that they have excelled on in the past, they still have to have it together, right? They still have to not only have their composed strategies and their composed setups, but they still have to look at Akron with, a watchful eye. What are they bringing out and how do they counter it? But the ban phase is underway, and so we'll get to more of that in a minute. But first, we get to see exactly what kind of Clubhouse we actually have on our hands. A Monty ban is coming out first from Akron. A good decision, given that Cheeks is, of course, the best Monty player in the West. And the Thatcher ban to follow it up. No surprise to see that off the board.
Yeah, Cheeks doing some real work on that Monty earlier in the week in a different match. I think Akron must have seen that and decided we really don't want to have to deal with that. They're not going to pull out the smoke ban like we saw earlier this week, but we are going to see a clash ban coming out from them once again, not wanting to deal with that clash, which is totally understandable. We're actually going to have the same defender bans as last map. That clash and that Malusi, just 2 ops. just comfort bands. No one really wants to play with them. No one wants to deal with them. So we are going to see all 4 hard breachers up. Not, not something you see all the time on Clubhouse. I wouldn't be surprised if you see this Habana every single round, just due to her versatility on this map, especially on that basement that we're going to see right now off the bat. She's going to be extremely useful for getting that kitchen hatch open. We did see a Blackbeard, but it's been taken off to that sledge. I'm really excited to see how this, or it's actually been taken to the Capital, pardon me, and the Goyo to Goyo 6 pick. But I'm excited to see how this goes.
I do like that you brought up, though, the presence of the hard breachers, right? I mean, this is a map that usually it's Thatcher and Maverick, or Thatcher and Habana, or something of the sort. And so to see a ban wasted, you could say, on the Monty, but maybe not, because of course Cheeks is in this lobby. It will be interesting to see what kind of hard breaches we actually will see on the table. I would expect to see both the Habana and the Maverick, 2 of the most lethal hard breachers on the board, especially for a map like Clubhouse, and just given the infrequency in which teams are even allowed to bring both of those out, I think GCU, to start things off on their attacking half, they're definitely going to be eager, and it's no surprise to see them bringing the double. The Capitao, in my opinion, one of the most undervalued operators in this game. It is great to see men pulling out the Brazilian player here, pulling out those fire bolts, those asphyxiating bolts, to really just change up the way that this map can play out. Not to mention those as well, or those smoke arrows, can just lock down angles, lock down certain lines of sight, and make attacking, especially on the basement, so much easier. Not to mention, when you're attacking CCTV and cache, there is no better operator in the world to have working for you than a Capitao clearing out rafters. So great to see GCU pulling out pretty much the operator lineup that I would expect. And on the side of Akron, I mean, this is pretty expected stuff as well. You've got Arv the Smoke, who's going to be playing in dirt, and actually who's going to be getting quite aggressive. But a couple of bullets exchanged there, giving away his position, does not matter. Klimps will lose that gunfight anyway. Hennessy will line up another now, getting the C4 kill onto Cheeks, and really giving Akron the edge. A firebolt forcing Arv out of position, but not quite cutting him all the way down.
Yeah, great picks coming out from Akron to start this off. Arv getting a little bit toasty by that first firebolt coming out from Mend. Obviously, though, I wanted to point out something earlier. You saw that, you heard that C4 go off at the very start of the round from IMAT. He actually opened up above that kitchen drop down to make it look like there was someone playing in CC, or in Logi, pardon me. But, even if he wasn't playing up there the entire round, it still makes the attackers consider that it's there. The holes are open. You could have someone there. You need to go clear that. Otherwise, you could pay for it later. It looks like it was a beautiful C4 coming up into the freezer from that throw from Hennessy, getting that Habana of Cheeks. So both hard breachers off the board, and the only thing opened up was dirt. So that's a very good thing if you're Akron. Very unlucky if you're a GCU fan. No can opener coming out here from Ment, but he's going to use that last fire on that shield there, trying to find anyone that was there. Ash Charge comes out and it's gone, but we're now down to a 5v3. The attack's on the back foot, and there's only 45 seconds left to go.
Yeah, there's another pick now, this time for Hennessy. The double swing coming in from IMAT, and JetCon will be just what Akron need to close out the round. I really do think you said it perfectly, Jagged. The loss of those 2 hard breachers as those first opening kills, that is the worst possible case scenario for GCU on that attack. Had they just lost one of the other, it would have been fine. It would have been recoverable. It would have taken a lot longer than they would have liked to open up the lines of sight on to the objective, and it would have maybe been limiting in terms of what they could actually open and where they could approach from. But of course, it's going to be even more limiting if you have neither hard breacher and you're just sitting back and saying, well, I guess we have to just send it in dirt, send it down main stairs, and just spray and pray. And that kind of behavior, well, it's going to deliver Akron a flawless round every single time. We just saw the scoreboard, and GCU have yet to find a single kill. So not the way they wanted to kick off this first round, but it's not over, right? It's just the first round. I'm not going to read into it too much. And the fact that we're heading to this tertiary bomb site next, the one that we would generally expect to be the least preferred of the 3 viable sites, maybe GCU can make this attack happen. But you got to remember, the element of surprise here could be pretty massive.
Well, for sure. And I think the most interesting thing is we're going to a gym bedroom without Castle. IMAT opting instead to bring that Goyo once more. Hennessy was running it last time. It's been passed off to IMAT for this round. But that Goyo is going to be huge with those shields. Having those 2 extra shields and the option to blow them up late in the round if you need to for some area denial or just to cover your bum as you try to run away. It's very big. No castle on your windows or on your doors to deny you for a tricking. Arv, though, he's already placed both of his claws down, so there's going to be no tricking involved. But we are going to see those mirror windows come out. Surma still has one in his pocket. It looks like he's activating it right now. Not exactly sure where that is. Perhaps inside of cash. Maybe. I think, yeah, it's been put in right now. Oh, it's been put on that. So it's a double bathroom mirror. I like this. You're not going to be able to reinforce it late, but you do have a line of sight when you're still spraying through that soft wall onto that jacuzzi breach. I'm at those sitting in the oil pit, aware that there's players gone up through the garage. There's at least 2 players that have gone through garage, and JetCon is holding this top red stairs, just waiting for someone to peek him. He's gonna have a rotate made out by Surma.
I mean, this is really big. IMAT has not been spotted. He's got several kills that could easily be grabbed if the opportunity is right. Cheeks, though, will check the angle this time around, but IMAT just says, I don't care, I'm gonna cut you down anyway. So Cheeks, the Hibana, the player that you really needed to clear this cache extension, is already gone. Maybe a nade can change that. It will pop the Vulcan shield at least, but it does not make JetCon unable to win another gunfight. He's just going to fry Klimps, and an ill-timed rotation will mark the end of JetCon's life as Mend will solidify that kill. So GCU are not out of this round yet. It's still a winnable situation. A 3v4. They've got 2 incredible soft breachers. Oh, now only 1. And they've got the hard breacher. That's in the form of Men, who's still yet to clear out Cash. Cash, the most recent player to just find the grave, is going to make this one even harder, especially now that Hennessy is continuing to fry these attackers. Mend, again, gets the refrag, but now is in a 1v3.
Yeah, and I'm not playing down here in stock. He wants to go for that C4, but he heard the push down from Men, so he's just going to sit in stock, and there it is. Headshot coming out from IMAT on that Goyo. Once again, those shields proven very effective in that, that scare factor, as well as just that time denial. So he's going to finish off that kill on the Men. He was the hard breacher left, so you didn't lose both your hard breachers like this time early, but you did lose the Hibana early, which I think caused a lot of the problem due to that Hibana, those extra counters being off the board. That's a lot less destruction you can get, and especially you don't want to do that all with the Mav, because you're just going to have one of your defenders of Akron swing you. And it's just going to make life even worse.
Well, as the train comes on through, I think a good time to mention the relevance of the momentum train, right? This is something that I always like to bring up. Maybe not the train as an analogy, but I feel like a good opportunity as any, right? And I mean, you look at the way Akron are playing right now, and you look at the seeming inability of GCU to get much going on their clubhouse attacks now, and I mean, momentum is really the big word that comes to mind. If GCU can't stop the bleeding soon, Akron could very well just start to run away with this one, just like they did on Coastline. I mean, winning out that tertiary bomb site, generally the hardest bomb site to defend successfully, but doing it with relative ease, I mean, just shows you how powerful Akron can be no matter where you put them. The fact that, as well, all of the gunfights in that last round either took place off of the bomb site or in CCTV and cache, right? There was nothing that actually happened on the bomb site itself, and I mean, that really just goes to show you how powerful that cache extension can be, especially when you put a couple of just powerful guns just sitting in wait to fry any attacker silly enough to just walk on in without the support from the Hibana. But again, as you mentioned, Jagged, in that previous round, the loss of the Hibana and the Maverick was everything, and in round number 2, I'd argue that the loss of the Hibana was equally problematic for GCU. You've got to be a little bit more careful with those support players, especially if you've got IMAT with the trigger discipline, the positioning, and the gun skill. Just lurk around a corner and wait for the perfect opportunity to strike.
Yeah, and you mentioned IMAT. He's sitting in the garage right now on that Valkyrie. He saw Cam go outside, but I believe he did get shot pretty quickly by the attacking side of GCU. So he's just going to be sitting in here back by that drone hole actually right now, just waiting for a push in from garage. He's been droned a couple times, but he hasn't been pushed yet from this swamp just yet. Cash sitting on the opposite side of his wall inside a lounge. C4 bait coming out. Is it going to get him? It will. That is the C4 kill on a Cash. It's your Ash gone after you got one Ash charge on under the wall. But it's an early man advantage coming out from Akron, but immediately traded. Meatstick pushing in through that bar stage wall with that Zofia impact. A good use of that soft breach utility. Managed to get you a kill. Isn't going to go on any of your bulletproof utility like those two bubbles, but I think it's worth it in this case since it did award them the trade they needed.
Well, now they still have to worry about Rafters, right? You've lost a big piece of utility in the form of your Ash, and now to bring this one back, it looks like GCU are intending on trying to force out Hennessy here, the player who's just happy to just sit back and wait for a swing. That's going to be Klims, the first player to make that happen. A pre-fire, and just holding down left click will eventually net the kill, but he'll be down and put on his back for his troubles. Cheeks, in the meantime, will remove Arv from the playing field, and that has now given GCU the edge for the first time in this series, it seems. JetCon is all that remains as Cheeks finds another, and now it is a 1v3 retake situation. One attacker, that's Cheeks on very low HP, but JetCon doesn't even know where any of them are positioned. He's got the diffuser at his feet and actually sees the feet of another. Oh my goodness, a missed opportunity there. It doesn't matter. He's going to get the double kill anyway. Now it's a 1v1. Meatstick has to pull this one back. The push up Raptors. The shots will finally connect, and Meatstick will avoid a catastrophic turn of events for GCU, and they will secure their first round on Clubhouse.
That win was super winnable there in the clutch coming out from that Jaeger. He almost got it, got the 2 kills, missed that ace on the ground the first time he swung around, but managed to get that spray transfer onto him as he came around the corner after killing that Maverick. Jumping into 1v2, you still had one player down. I believe that was Klims on that Nomad sitting in garage down in rafter about R2. But Zofia, that Meatstick coming up through the rafter stairs on that flank, quote unquote, managed to pick off JetCon at the last second, denying the clutch opportunity from him and saving GCU for their first round. It was a very well-played execute coming out from GCU. It was a very well-played round in general. They lost the first pick, but they got the trade immediately. And from there, they were just able to stack some kills together, getting Hennessy off the rafter. They got the down, but they just can't let the train keep going. They got a couple more kills, and all of a sudden, they were pushing into the bomb site and getting the plant down like it was anyone's business. And, you know, they played that really well. The post plant was played well. I mean, you lost 2, but you made it work, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. The bomb wasn't able to be defused. They got the plant off. They won the round, and now we're heading back to basement.
I'm just so happy that GCU made an attack happen. I was so worried that this would go so one-sided again, and obviously I don't want to be a biased caster, but we always want to see more competitive siege, and I feel like GCU finding this attacking round, this could be exactly what they needed to prevent this from getting out of hand quickly. It's Clubhouse, right? It's a defensive-sided map. You expect to take this one. You know, that 4-2 split is pretty much what you'd expect from a defensive team, and with that round, GCU have gone from looking rather lost to putting themselves in a pretty good position. Now the ability, if with just one more round, they will not only be back in this fight, but they will have done, in my opinion, their due diligence on their attacking side, regardless of how the next 2 rounds after that were to unfold. You get 2 rounds on attack, I think that's all you really need. You come out on defense on a map that you know well, on a map that you chose to play here tonight, and that could be the perfect turn of events for GCU that they needed. Of course, we do want to see them take this other round, potentially. Maybe they can pull out another. Meatstick, he's going to make that more certain, or at least more plausible, as JetCon, a little bit of an aggressive push from the bar double door. He's going to get cut down and eliminated very early.
Yeah, this is a good pace coming out from GCU, both in the overall arcing round count of the game and of just this one round in general. They've gotten their 1 round so far out of 3, and they've gotten their early kill. But a C4 comes out and drops Cheeks to about 10 HP. He is on that fuse, which is important to note. Having that fuse is going to be great for clearing out that kitchen area and being able to open up that bomb site, clearing from below in the kitchen into army, rather. He does have that can opener too, so you don't have to waste as many X-Kairos on that kitchen hatch. You can use that on that hatch just to get it open with those fuse charges. But Arv's going to train out men, so It's one of your hard breaches off the boards here. Maverick, he did his work getting that dirt wall open, but Nade came out, dropped Arv about, maybe 5 HP. Didn't do anything except really take out that shield. So Arv is still sitting pretty inside of dirt, and now it's a 4v4 with just under a minute to go. But
well, you got Cheeks, right? He's bringing out the fuse and that secondary hard breach gadget, so you have the ability to get that hatch open either with the Hibana pellets or with that secondary charge, and the loss of the Maverick should not be too big of a deal. But this might, the time that GCU are now taking to clear out this last remaining roamer in the form of IMAT, the Valkyrie, just lurking in CCTV. GCU, they've done a great job. He's now completely pinched. He's being pressured from both sides, but there is no time to dilly-dally, boys. You gotta pressure him on out. Instead, GCU will completely ignore him, and Meatstick just rolls on into the site and collects 2 kills, now forcing Akron onto the back foot, but Surma is there with the response. Now looks for the planter, finds the planter, a double kill, looks for the magnum shots, but it's IMAT who steals the kill instead, cutting down Meatstick and taking the round despite the full onslaught into the bomb site from Meatstick. Akron recover and take the round.
Meatstick had a great entry there in the last 30 seconds of the round, getting both those defenders sitting in the back of Armory with their pants down. Got that smoke, and I believe it was that, was it a mute, or maybe it was the Cade sitting in, it wasn't the Cade, but it was at least the smoke sitting in the back of Armory. Meatstick had a great entry in there, got the 2 kills that they needed to get into the bomb site. The plant was going down, and IMAT was off site, and your Cade was around Moto side. Unfortunately, your Ash didn't realize that he had pushed around through short onto the bottom of main stairs, and it caused the Ash to die, and unfortunately your planner had to get off the bomb. But that, in the last few seconds, that seemed like it was almost winnable for GCU. Just a few mistakes in the last dying seconds of the round as the plant went down, but they could have won that round pretty well, and that would have gotten them their 2 rounds that they need on this map. But we are going to see Akron pick up their 3rd round like you would expect, and we're going to go back to CCTV. This was where GCU won their 1st round, so if Akron isn't careful, we can see GCU win their 2nd attack and be good for the half in round 5.
Yeah, the big deal for GCU in this round that they did end up winning, it was the Rafters take. The one that is one of those pivotal moments. It's one of what I like to call mini games, right? These occurrences in almost every single round that you just have to be well versed in dealing with. And GCU dealt with that minigame quite efficiently. It didn't unfold in the way that you would usually expect. There was no flash dump, there was no firebolt or frag grenade onto Hennessy's head. It was simply just Klimps walking up the stairs as the Nomad, holding down left click and finding the kill. As unorthodox as that was, it got the job done, right? And IMAT will also get the job done here. That is going to be Cash the Ash off the board, kept at 0-5. Not what you want to see from your entry player, and not what you want to start out this round like for GCU. And now with IMAT on the loose, unleashed on this attacking team, you're going to really have to shut him down soon. Maybe over-aggression could be IMAT's downfall. Klimps seems to be aware of the position of IMAT, but you got to do more than just sniff him out. You actually have to deal that fatal blow.
And IMAT was, Klimps was aware that IMAT was up in gym, but IMAT was just as aware of where Klimps was. You saw him on that Valkyrie camera outside. He had the exact location of where Klimps was, but now IMAT's kind of trapped himself here in Logi. So he's going to play here to die, but he's wasting so much time. Meatstick's on the hunt for him. But there's just over half the round left, and you're already down a man. But Klimps going to trade that out on the R of your Cade gone. Something that I wanted to point out earlier is we actually have 3 hard breachers this round. You got your Maverick on men, Klimps on your Hibana, but Cheeks has shifted over to that Ace. Allows you for that triple sustainability on your hard breach, making sure just because you lose one, you're not out of the round just yet. Some interesting Maverick work coming out here from Mend. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that, but the entire wall is now open. No soft breachers, so I understand why they were doing it. But, took a little bit longer than I assumed they would have wanted to be.
They've gotten the job done, at least to some extent, but like you said, Jagged, there's 60 seconds left in this round, and GCU need to get something going. You've taken off one C4, but you haven't removed any Maestro cams, you haven't removed the C4 in Hennessy's pocket or in IMAT's pocket, and you haven't cleared out Hennessy from Rafters either. Cheeks is going to feel the full brunt of that as he gets just totally destroyed and sent to his grave. JetCon will also get cut down, so GCU making sure the man count stays even, but now Klims is forced to do a solo clear of Rafters, and he's got the shakes right now. He just can't quite get that aim steady and find that headshot. He will. He'll take down one, and okay, Klims, he'll recover that earlier situation, finding the head of Hennessy rather quickly. That's going to keep things even. A 2v2, GCU can get this push from Rafters, but he's prone, close, on the tuck position in this corner, and Klims has no idea. The vault on in, that's going to be Surma, who actually ends up being credited with the kill. Meatstick, the last alive. And he's not going to have it. Swinging on out towards the breach, finishing off the round and giving Akron their CCTV and cash defensive win.
Yeah, the real hero of that round between those last 2 kills and just wasting so much time on the other side of the map for so long. You drop so much time on that Cade. Eventually, GCU decided to say, screw him. We're going to go for our attack. We're going to get everything open. Klims had a really nice shot onto Hennessy and Rafters, but ultimately just wasn't enough because so much time had been wasted and they were down a man for a long time. So, they got distracted. They weren't able to get their jobs done. The eventual mini game started rolling, but at that point, it was just a little bit too late because, little by little, they lost their man count. Bomb was dropped on flat, and you had to send Meatstick over to rotate to get it, but it was just too late. He was in a 1v2, and he had to get bombed down versus IMAT, and I believe it was Surma on that Maestro. It just wasn't happening.
I mean, that's the thing when you leave the Maestro up, when you leave the Alda in the game in those closing moments with 81 bullets in the mag, all Surma had to do was hold left click, swing the corner at once, and that's what he did. That's what IMAT did, even with some low bullet count in the MPX. But regardless, Akron taking the round, their fourth round win. So that's pretty good to see from them. But for GCU, their hope they still have in this one, it comes in the form of Gym and Bedroom. It's this tertiary bomb site that is back in play, and GCU know this full well. There's no other option for Akron, given those 2 wins on the basement and that CCTV site in a row, which means, without a shadow of a doubt, that tertiary bomb site is going to be in play. Akron, they're not going to go to bar and stock. That's just not a thing. So GCU, they know exactly what to be prepared for. They know what they have to bring. They're ditching the Habana in favor of the Ace. They're putting Mend on the Maverick once again, and we've now got the Sledge in play from Cheeks. Well, last time, the reason this went so wrong so fast was the slow and unfortunate cash clear. The loss of the Habana early, and this time it's Cash. This time it is Cash who's lost early, but, Cash has just not even been allowed to play in this game. 0-6 now, the entry fragger being the entry death almost every single time. Not the way GCU wanted to start. Meatstick hoping to pull this one back, and a kill there onto the over-aggressive IMAT will mark the shift in the round and return to an even man count.
Yeah, talk about that Cash clear. He's 0-6. Unfortunately, he's just not playing well in that entry here on Clubhouse. I think it's, you got to move him onto a different role. But JetCon's going to flank down into the stock and pick off what was left of Meatstick. He's down to about 10 HP after that fight with IMAT. IMAT's been doing a lot of work, even from the grave. But the one thing I wanted to note earlier, Arv is down to about 30 HP. I believe he took a spawn peek early on in the round, and it cost him a lot of HP. But he did manage to get the pick onto Cash just a little while ago. But inside of Cash, Hennessy's going to take down Klims. So that's your ace off the board. No walls have been open. I know there's a mute jammer on it, but you have to get some presence in there. You have to get the walls open. You have an ace to get that open. You have a Mav too, at the very least, to try to make some holes in the wall. I don't understand why exactly GCU isn't trying to go for that, but Manda's going to swing on the Mav. Going to clear out Hennessy now. So now it's a 3v2, but there's a minute left to work with. But up against that Akron team, you have 2 full HP players and Arv at about 40. As long as Arv has a gun in his hand, I wouldn't really worry about how much health he actually has. But we're going to fall into the last 50 seconds now as we're still trying to get Cash control, it seems. Finally, Cheeks moves in. They're going to try to get set up for their execute. It looks like you have a player playing below in Gym. It looks like it's probably Surma for that C4, but anything could go at this point.
Yeah, Cheeks is hoping to pull this one back. Maybe taking out this logistics player could do it, but Surma is playing this pretty passive. He's just tucked behind this desk here. He's got a printer in front of his face and basically a head glitch spot that Cheeks could not even predict. Surma will net that kill, and that will leave Mend again, alone in a 1v3 situation on this tertiary bomb site. 10 seconds to work with practically at this point. Mend has to get aggressive. A C4 at his feet will not do much, but the fact that there's no time, that will be his end. JetCon will collect the kill as Mend was forced to just go for the full pistol send into the bomb site, and Akron will again look pretty clean on their defensive side, not taking the 6-0 flawless first half we saw on Coastline, but pretty much as close as you could get to doing so. 5-1, the scoreline after half number 1.
Yeah, and 5-1, looking pretty good for Akron, especially considering all 4 hard breachers are available. They're going to take use of that, getting that Habana and Maverick, just like we saw from GCU on their start of the game. But I do imagine we'll see an ace come out at some point, depending on which bomb site we're attacking. Right now, it's basement, so the Habana makes sense. Habana's always going to make sense on this map, though, just because she's Habana, has that 6 pellet, 4 pellet, and 2 pellet option. I mean, she's just all around useful. This map is her playground, no matter how you look at it. One thing I did want to know from last round and across that entire first half is just that no matter what round it was, the clock was always going in favor of Akron. Every single round, it came down to those last 20 seconds. And it just seemed like GCU just ran out of time. Unfortunately, that clock always going to work in favor of the defense, because if that bomb doesn't go down at 0-0, you're going to win by default. So having that clock now on the side of GCU, maybe they could use that to their advantage instead of their disadvantage now, and hopefully stall out Akron enough to where it causes them to waste enough time in order to get more rounds on the board for GCU.
Jagged, I do think you really do bring up a great point, because time, it really got the better of GCU so often, and especially on that gym bomb site. The bomb site that is normally the easiest to attack, mind you, seemed to give GCU the most trouble, I'd argue, and I think that's because the cache extension. They just did not have a cohesive plan to deal with it, and because of that, they took so long to clear out cache, and by the time that they did, there was not enough time to do pretty much anything else. They didn't pressure from the Jacuzzi side. They just had to kind of just send it on in, and that's what we saw from Mend, and it was no surprise that it didn't work on out. But now on defense, now Cash possibly has the chance to find his first frag of the map, and this could be pretty big. You put Cash extended on that roam as a Jaeger, just running and gunning, just like every one of these Akron players was doing in this first half, and maybe this is what GCU needs to pull this one back. Cash in that first gunfight, not successful so far, losing about 50 HP, and that also marks the fact that this kitchen hatch is now soon going to be opened wide. The smoke canister there being utilized by Mend, but in doing so, also losing quite a bit of HP. But there comes the pulse. That's Klimps utilizing that heartbeat sensor perfectly, and a C4 will be the end of Hennessy. So GCU, they're off to a good start this time.
Yeah, good utility usage coming out from GCU so far in this round, between the C4 on Pulse as well as that cardiac sensor. But then that gas canister coming out from Mend, he was able to drop Arv to about 30 HP, drop JetCon to about 80. But he got a lot of damage off on Arv. That's the biggest thing. Even though he took so much HP from that nade, I believe is what damaged him the most as he tried to fall back out of dirt. He got his HP. He's used one of his smoke babes, but he still has 2 more as we enter the last half of the map. Cash, though, sitting on main stairs with Meat Stick directly above him on the upper plat. They're going to try to hold off this main stairs push as JetCon's just sitting around in dirt waiting for someone to swing as we enter the last minute of the round.
Well, right now the drone work is just coming out, right? This is the information phase for Akron. They're just trying to figure out exactly what they're dealing with, and once they identify it, the pinch and the eventual execute is going to come through. Clubhouse, especially this basement bomb site. This is one of those sites that really lend themselves heavily to that 20-second meta, and a meta that seems to be working out for GCU here. A quick push from IMAT is not going to work out at all. Same for Surma and Hennessy, both already gone in this one, and Arf, he's going to be the last alive. JetCon is going to find the grave. Cheeks making that certain, utilizing that AUG well, and now this one is a 1v5 for Arv, a nearly impossible situation, augmented by the fact that Arv only has about 35 HP to his name. So not the best hopes for the Maverick, especially that GCU are simply playing this passive. They're not swinging, they're not going crazy. They know the potential of a situation like this going wrong. Cheeks, lying in wait, delivers GCU round 7 and a flawless round on defense. Very impressive turnaround for GCU.
Yeah, it was played extremely well from them, and I gotta mark it on that early play from the smoke. The utility usage from that smoke, I believe, It was Mend, I believe, on that smoke last round too. But he played that extremely well. He took a lot of damage early on, but he was able to trade some of that back with the smokes. And those last two going into dirt just to deny Jetcon to push in through that dirt door. It delayed him enough to where his teammates all died around him, and it was left up to him and Arv in the 2v5. And ultimately, Jetcon was just kind of trapped in dirt. He didn't have time to rotate, and he just got put down by Cheeks. And ultimately, Arvin the 1v5 with about 30 HP. It wasn't gonna happen. He might have gotten a couple exit frags, but ultimately it was kind of fruitless at the end. So you just kind of save the KD as much as you can and just talk it out with your team on what to do this time. We are gonna go up now to CC and TV. Cheeks bringing out that Doc once again. He's been promoted supposedly. We'll see if that promotion lasts. If he doesn't get demoted back down to Colonel, we'll have to see how it goes. But I'm on that Blackbeard. That's gonna be something to see. I assume he's gonna repel on that plat. He's just going to sit there for the round after the wall gets open and just wait for someone to peek into his crosshair.
Well, we're heading upstairs, right? We're changing things up. GCU going to CCTV and Cash and hoping that this is where they can find some success again, right? We've got Cheeks pulling out the Doc. So an operator generally reserved for pretty gunning positions, pretty strong positions here. But we've also got the Blackbeard. Right, we've got IMAT, who, in quite a bit of friendly banter before this matchup, Klimps and IMAT going back and forth, and Klimps dared IMAT to only pull out the Blackbeard and the Capcan against him. And while we haven't seen the Capcan, it now appears that Blackbeard will make his clubhouse debut. So we'll call that unfortunate to see, because an operator like Blackbeard has no place in this game. A shield in front of your face in a game all about headshots, there's no need to bring that out. Generally, there's a gentleman's agreement about that kind of thing. You don't play him here or there. But in Collegiate, sometimes things get a bit nasty. Sometimes you want to pull out all the stops in search of our wonderful $10,000 prize pool here at CollegiateR6. So personally, I don't blame them, but I can make sure to ridicule them for it, which is something I always do when we see a Blackbeard in the game. We have a Valkyrie in the game as well, and a Valkyrie that is fragging out. Meatstick opening up that first kill, Cash the second, and Cheeks the third. GCU following a flawless round. They are on the way to another.
Yeah, they really want to get 2 flawless rounds in a row here just to stick it to Akron. It's all up left to Surma and Hennessy now. They have half the round to work with, but in a 2v5, this is going to be difficult. But opening kill for Akron goes on to Cheeks. That Doc being really aggressive in Rafters. Surma just landing his shots. But Meatstick's going to finish off Hennessy. Now it's all up to Surma in the ace clutch situation. He's found one with a minute 20 left. Can he get more? C4 ripped and torn, but it was just a bait from Meatstick. Throws the C4 and goes for the gunfight. He's going to finish off Surma. Good round from him. Good double. I wanted to point out earlier, though, that that Blackbeard, we were talking about him, ultimately didn't come out to any effect due to the Cash's run out from Jim. He got 2 on that run out. Very good from him. Got traded out, but or actually didn't get traded out, rather. But it was, good run out from him. Overall, just another strong round coming out from GCU.
Yeah, strong round again. That's 2 in a row, right? And they are starting to slowly come into their element here, and Akron have been unable to do pretty much of anything. That's 2 rounds in a row where Akron have been completely cut at the hip, it seems. There wasn't, I'd argue, one particular thing or the other that really got them down in a bad spot, but definitely not the way they wanted to start out their attack. GCU, they've regained that momentum. They're starting to feel good. The confidence, it's got to be building, but they are going to certainly need that confidence when it comes to this third bomb site. Gym and Bedroom is up next, a bomb site where Akron locked down cleanly on defense, and what GCU are hoping to do as well. We've got the Mira. That's going to be that similar operator linking the defense of Akron and GCU, but we are seeing what looks like to be a different setup. Only one of those Mira windows, at least for now, has been utilized on that bathroom to jacuzzi wall position, and the other one is yet to be fully cleared about where that is going to be placed. We are seeing another classic Cash extension here, this time using a couple of those reinforcements on the CC wall as well. Slap a mute jammer on there, and you're just going to force Akron to take a lot more time off the clock if they do indeed want to clear it out from that east side. The other option, and generally something that teams like to do a little bit both of, a little bit of a mix and match. You approach from that jacuzzi wall side as well, pressuring from the west. You open up that line of sight just to make sure you're constantly pressuring these defenders to make sure they never can get too comfortable on the bomb site. Akron, they don't have any intent of splitting their force right now. It is a full send. At least 4 attackers are pushing in from this cache side.
Yeah, and I like the reinforcement allocation that came out from GCU on this defense. You know, they reinforced those 2 plat walls, but I also really like that reinforcement on that rafter wall inside of the CC. It's going to make it to where a player can't just push in from rafter and wall bang straight to the back of cache. It's a really nice afterthought that I wouldn't have thought about. But as IMAT just tries to walk up the red stairs, Ben's just going to shut him down on that castle, which we didn't see from Akron at all. Cash is going to get 1. He's going to get a second though on a Surma and Jekon. So now at 5v2, once again, we're still over halfway left in the round. And make that a 5v1 as Arv goes down. All left up to Hennessy with 1:45 to go. He has a lot of work to do. Plenty of time to do it as a sledge. Has 2 nades and plenty of soft destruction. But GCU's just looking so good on their defense half of Clubhouse here. They're going to have to go flawless on all their other defenses in order to bring it to a win without overtime. But with how it's going so far, I don't see that as out of the cards just yet.
I have to agree with you, Jagged. I mean, GCU have not only won the 2 previous rounds and now this one as well, as Hennessy is just going to hang out on the roof, but they've done so with ease. A flawless round, and then a nearly flawless round, and then I'm going to call it a flawless round. So, I mean, that is a very impressive feat to achieve against Akron. I talked about the confidence coming out of that previous round and coming out of these 2 successful rounds back-to-back now, and I think what we just witnessed was that confidence in action. I mean, Cash just swung out the CCTV window even when the breach was open. Even when there were players just standing right behind him, ready to cut him down, he was confident that Mend was playing that angle and forcing those gunfights early, and confident that he could win that gunfight. That is just what you like to see from a team that has looked like it's struggling so much leading up to this point. But with this round under their belt now, GCU, they turn this into only a one round deficit. It's going to be a 5-4, and GCU are poised to equalize this right here. It's not normal that you say we're going to expect to see a 5-1 defensive-sided Clubhouse, especially given that the fact that we have a Hibana and a Maverick on the board, but we may be seeing this very defensive-sided game. We really could. Normally, this kind of defensive-sided game is reserved for when you have no Maverick on the board, no Hibana on the board, or some combination of a Maverick, Hibana, Thatcher ban. But what we're seeing right now is impressive from these defensive teams. GCU are only 1 round away from making that certain.
Yeah, like you said, all 4 hard breachers are on the board, yet this has been an extremely defensive-sided game, and I think it just speaks volumes on both the confidence of GCU as well as the playstyle of Akron on their defense. Both defenses have gone really well so far. GCU has done the three-peat. They've made the full rotation of the viable sites. They're back to where it all began, and it's been 3 flawless rounds in a row, or they're roughly flawless rounds. That second one may have been flawless, may have not been flawless, but I'm gonna call it a flawless round because essentially that's what it was. GCU's been playing lights out on their defense so far, and I expect to continue going into this basement round. Obviously, though, Akron's going to want to change a pace. They're going to want to get onto match point before it evens out. So they're going to do what they can. They're bringing that Hibana and that Mav again to get those hatches open. Arv's going to go for dirt like he did last time. Jetcon's going to probably push in with him. But it's going to be how can they adapt to what GCU was doing last time on their basement defense. And if they can adapt to what that was going on last time, then I could see them winning this round. However, though, GCU, if they keep playing like they're playing, I fully expect a map 3 somewhat soon.
I think you're absolutely right, and I'm eager to see GCU bring this back to even and make the ending of Clubhouse as competitive as we want to see. We can see that GCU are feeling confident. They've got this roam, they've got Meatstick and Cash well extended and well prepared to fend off any sort of top-down clear that Akron may be looking to get underway. One thing we forgot to highlight is Cash, who found 0 kills on the entire attacking half, finally found not only 1, but 3 now. 3 and 6, returning that KD to about 50%, or about 0.5, but you're still on the way and likely to continue to add to that tally, just given that we've seen the confidence of not only Cash, but this entire GCU roster really step it up to another level. Cash has rotated back down to the bomb site, but we still have one roamer to worry about. That is Meatstick, who is upstairs in construction at the moment, yet to do much, but just playing out the clock and in a position to potentially get a really powerful flank in just a few moments. A frag grenade, the first one, going to go on downrange towards Mend, but nowhere near close enough to make an impact. That's going to be traded out by a toxic canister, the last toxic canister, I might add, isolating JetCon and Arv in this position for just a little bit longer. But the time slowly ticking away, that minute 15 now left on the clock, and it appears that Akron, they're ignoring a roam clear. They're going for this full-on dirt push right now.
Yeah, and you know, one shotgun pump gets IMAP, but the second one won't land as JetCon gets a trade. But Men wasted so much time on that dirt push. Arv wasted both of his grenades. Zofia wasted both of her impacts. That shield was still there. They ended up having to call in IMAT. They needed the cavalry to get that shield gone, get Men out of there. You know, Men got lost, but at what cost? You lost your Ashe and your Maverick, and now you've lost your Hibana as well. Surma's gone, and Cheeks and Cash are just swinging like crazy. It's all up to JetCon and Hennessy. No flawless round this time as it's a 2v3. So man count almost even, but as I say that, Meatstick takes out Hennessy, and once again, it's all up to JetCon. He's sitting in dirt. It's almost a mirror image of last basement round. No flawless round, but the last player in dirt has to rotate out, and with 20 seconds to go, it's looking like another GCU round. We'll see what JetCon does. He's going to save KD, I assume. There's not much he really can do at this point. 10 seconds left. He gets a kill on the Meatstick, so you know, another impactless frag for him. Cheeks or Cash prone on the floor here, but he stands up the last second. Oh my! And if Cheeks had stuck his head up there, we could have seen that turn out very differently. But GCU wins their 4th round in a row and their 4th round of defense.
Right, they brought it back. Incredible stuff from them, neutralizing that advantage and returning us to an even 5-5. But even though this looks pretty competitive for both of these teams, I mean, on this most recent half, GCU have shown no signs of slowing down at all. That is 4 rounds now, completely unanswered, and it was only in that last round that Akron has finally come close. That could mean that they will now get even closer and only really need 1 round to force overtime to prevent GCU from actually running away with this one. But it is worth mentioning how impactful momentum can be. I mean, when one team is just so confident that they're just swinging everything and frying you without a semblance of, needing to care about aggression or taking early gunfights, they're just doing it, and it's working for GCU. This is kind of exactly what we saw on Coastline, just flipped around, where Akron was gunning. They were swinging. They just cleared it out immediately and just stormed into the bomb site. It's kind of the opposite, and with GCU on defense, and with some of these players who are just so potent and hard to deal with in these power positions that so many of which exist on Clubhouse. The Rafters position is one we're going to see again. Akron definitely do still have their work cut out for them for these last 2 remaining rounds in regulation.
Yeah, and something I just noticed as we were spectating the garage, Henry, I don't know if you can go check out like an oil pit, but Cade threw his claws inside an oil pit to electrify those 2 garage walls, I believe. Yeah, those Cade claws are underneath those 2 grates, and they're actually getting all 4 of those garage walls. So those walls won't be open unless it gets mapped open by Arv. However, you have nothing on your plat wall, but at that point, Arv was going to map that open anyways. I think that just makes it a little bit easier on the garage player of Cheeks. That Doc sitting in Rafters, it's going to make his life a little bit easier in order to stay alive there a little bit longer.
Yeah, that definitely can assist. Every little bit of time, every little bit of time you take off the clock makes defending easier, makes attacking harder, forces the attacking team, any attacking team, but obviously in this case Akron, to really get more aggressive and to put themselves in positions that they would not usually like to do. And JetCon, he is going to get caught out, and Meatstick, the run out from stock, gets 2. The C4, so powerful. That has just obliterated the Maverick, who was in the middle of the Maverick trick, taken down your Zofia, and Akron are looking lost here. GCU are putting on a show, and they're now in a 5v3. Hennessy, IMAT, and Surma are now seriously going to have to pull this one back. That early defensive momentum that they had, it has been long gone. It is now GCU with all of the momentum, all of the confidence, and the eagerness to take this one here. They don't want to bother with overtime, Jagged. They want to win this one out and force this decider map. Taking a map against Akron, that's something that not many teams have done in the past, but GCU are on their way to accomplishing. Hennessy, he's not going to let me get ahead of myself here. He's going to cut down Klimps, making this one a little bit more achievable for this attack.
Yeah, nade came out there from Hennessy to no avail. He's got one more in the pocket, though. He's going to throw it out. Is he going to get anything? No. I said earlier, that plat wall is going to get open anyways. Man, I was wrong. That plat wall did not get open. And now, as 2 kills come out from GCU, it's all left up to Hennessy. No more nades, just that L85 in tow. And he's got to find 4 in the next 40 seconds. Cash is outside the building on that AC balcony, going for some nasty little gunfires. But Hennessy's just going to ignore him, and Meatstick finishing it off. A 3K for Meatstick on the round. What a great round from him. That run out, catching 2 on the rappel and with that C4. Just wonderful stuff from him. And, ultimately, GCU really firing up the heat here on Akron. They're on match point.
Match point for GCU. When I learned I was going to be casting this series, I did not envision myself saying those very words. The turnaround that we have seen from GCU just in the last half hour, in these last few rounds, it's been incredible. I mean, where did they come from? A team that on their attack on this map looked utterly disjointed, unable to push out even the simplest of mini games. The cache extension is what I have in my mind right now, but they have gone from that to a coordinated team that is just so confident and so just gung-ho to swing these angles, take these early fights, and Akron have been unable to answer. I wish there was more to say about, maybe Akron just aren't pulling out their normal strategies, or GCU are pulling out these crazy stuff, but no, that's not what we're seeing. GCU are pretty much running their defaults here, and Akron have not come out with much of an answer. Any answer. So far, they haven't taken a single attacking round on this defensive attacking side, and this could very well be a 6-0 half for GCU. The final round to complete the 6-0 sweep, it's going to come down to gym and bedroom.
Yeah, and as we head to this tertiary site in the final round of regulation, Akron looking a little scared. They don't want to go. They want to bring it to overtime. They would rather not take this in 3. They want to take it in 2 here. But as we get into the round, though, we're gonna have to deal with that cast extension. Akron did it themselves. Hopefully, they can get it. They can take care of it themselves. They know how to counter it. But we'll see how it goes, because last time it was a flawless round for GCU. They managed to get a lot of kills in that early round and just close it out in that final few seconds in cash. Surma's actually entering here into garage. He's being droned in, but still, I'm surprised it's Surma doing the entry. I'm surprised, it's not IMAT. It's not JetCon moving in. And Arv's just sitting here on the plat. We are going to have to wait for this red stairs player to be cleared. It's Mend once again. IMAT, last time they were playing here, walked up the red stairs and got immediately shut down by Mend. But doesn't look like that's the case so far.
Yeah, Arv is going to be droning out lounge to start to assess the situation, see if some sort of red stairs push is doable here. But I think the fact that Meatstick is also playing below, the player who's been going absolutely crazy on this one, 15 kills to their name. I don't know if that's going to be an angle of attack here for Akron. Probably more of a direct send onto Cash. No, it's IMAT. Okay, he is going to enter through stock and possibly elect to go for this challenge. Meatstick still inside of Secret, and Mend no longer on the top of red stairs, actually using this opportunity to rotate away and around back to the bomb site. 2 drones at IMAT's feet, and a lot of missed shots from both of these big guns, and it will be IMAT who wins in the battle of the fraggers, finally shutting down Meatstick, and maybe that will be the secret to Akron's success. Their win condition? Well, that might just be killing Meatstick early. But look at the time. 50 seconds are all that remains. They've yet to get much pressure into the bomb site. They still have a lot of utility to clear out and players to clear out as well, despite the drone working their way in all the way into logistics. Cash on the swing gets another kill.
Yeah, I think ultimately that was just a missed drone on the side of Akron there. That drone walked right by Cash, didn't even see him tucked in the corner, and that caused Hennessy to lose his life. Unfortunately, Surma, though, it's now pushed into Logi, and even though Akron got the opening pick, it's now been brought back in the favor of GCU. It's a 2v3. Surma's at 30 HP, and there's only 20 seconds left. Surma's been dropped, though, and so is Cheeks, so it's technical 1v2, but with 10 seconds left to go, it's looking rough for Jekon. He's going to hop in, get one. 8 seconds left, doesn't have the bomb. He's going to have to go for picks here, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I mentioned it earlier in the game. GCU was going to have to go flawless on their defense half in order to bring us to map 3 without overtime, and by golly, they've done it. They took all 6 rounds on their offense, went from 5-1, ending in a 7-5.
GCU have done what many said was impossible. Winning out, taking a map against Akron. Of course, it's not the series, it's just a map. But to do that here, in such a high-stakes matchup against such a powerful team, you got to applaud them. A flawless defensive half on Clubhouse. Turns out GCU is definitely a Clubhouse team. Their aggression, their confidence, it carried them the entire way. Despite a 5-1 half, they came back with a fury and a vengeance, and I am seriously impressed with what they were able to put down. There is a very small list of teams who were able to beat Akron, only like a couple, but an even smaller list, or not a smaller list, but another equally small list of teams who were able to take a map against Akron. Texas Tech was one, and now GCU is another. So a great job here, and I cannot wait to see this decider. This one, it's going to come to hopefully a banger of a conclusion, but we are going to have to wait a few minutes to see how it unfolds. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break, and our map 3 of Villa will be up next. Stick with us, and we will be right back.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it out. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the conclusion now of this incredible matchup between Akron and GCU. We hinted at it before the break, but very few teams have ever taken Akron to a map 3, and even fewer teams have even beaten this incredible team. The last time that Akron lost was 2 years ago. Simon Fraser, the team, a roster of players, 3 of which then became Livid, the Canadian Pro League team. So it takes pros to beat Akron, but it could very well take a GCU as well. They are so close, only one map away. Their performance on Villa, it is just going to have to be a continuation of what we saw from them on their dominant second clubhouse half. Eager to see how it plays out. As always, I'm Jays Wills, and Jagged is joining me again in his CR6 debut. And Jagged, I mean, you could not have wished for a better match to start things off.
No, this is an absolute barn burner. You know, you weren't always expecting this match to be a barn burner, but GCU proved that on Clubhouse that they have what it takes to take Akron down. Will they do it? It's yet to be determined. But I'm really excited for the conclusion of this match. And it's been almost a year since Akron was taken down. So if this is the game that finally Akron loses, it's going to be insane. Rankings are going to go everywhere. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff going on in Discord and on Twitter. But ban phase is now finished. You have a Thatcher, a Nomad, a Malusi, and a Clash. So same bands from Coastline, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, those are the exact same bands from Coastline. I've been told that it was the Season 4 CollegiateR6 semifinals. That was the last time they lost. So long ago, man. That literally almost a year ago. Maybe about 10 months. but that's not to be discredited. That just shows how good Akron is as a team. And there you go. Last map, you talked about how there was in-game banter between Klimps and IMAT. He brought out the Blackbeard on Clubhouse, and here comes the cap can now.
Yeah, cap can on Villa. It's one of the very few places you generally see a cap can because there are so many entry points and so many different areas that attackers will likely approach from, and that's when his primary gadget, those little boom doorway tripwires, can actually be quite effective. But the C4, that is generally preferred as the secondary gadget, is also quite potent, especially when you get to that tertiary bomb site of kitchen and dining. That's not what we're seeing here from IMAT. Clearly, he's bringing out the impacts instead. But in the hands of an incredible player, Capcan is just as good as any other. But, you know, once again, I want to highlight the significance of this. And you mentioned the rankings, Jagged, and honestly, the rankings have been, you know, moving around a little bit in the recent weeks. The rankings, courtesy of our good friends over at the Dirt Report, actually have GCU dropping down a little bit this week. I think they're at 5th or 6th position rather than their normal number 2 or number 3, just because GCU has had a rough go of it in the last few weeks. They've had some good wins against teams like CU Boulder and UTD, but they've also lost to some teams like NCSU, and they just haven't been looking as composed and as dominant as they tend to be. So to come out here tonight and to take a map off Akron, regardless of the outcome at the end of the day, I mean, this one is going to send ripples throughout the entire collegiate and T3 ecosystem. When Akron loses a map, people will hear about it, and if they were to lose a series, the world, I think, would hear about this. But of course, Villa is where it all has to happen. Cheeks is pulling out the Monty. We're finally going to get to see the best Monty player in the West pull out his favorite operator, and we're going to have to see him utilize it well.
Yeah, I want to go back to those rankings for one more time. Thanks to our friends over the Dirt Report, we do have the rankings for Week 12. Akron has been the undisputed #1 team for as long as I can remember. GCU currently sitting at number 6 after dropping from 4th place, but a win here over Akron is sure to catapult them into that top floor, if not that top 3. I mentioned Cheeks on the Monty. He's running that can opener, and he's pushed all the way up to the site door. The mute of Hennessy here, he's swinging him. He sees that Monty, but he doesn't really want to deal with them. But the Monty of Cheeks is just sitting there menacingly, and Clips underneath with that buck. He's going to look to do a little bit of damage to the floor with that skeleton key, open some line of sights up, get some kills. But we are going to be careful, though, because it looks like the Maestro of Surma is sitting inside of 90. So, Meatstick, as I say, Meatstick's going to have to watch out for that. IMAT takes his head clean off. No drone on the other side inside a statue. And Surma gets Clips, but Cheeks in the bomb site. He's going to drop Hennessy. It's now a 5v or 4v3. Make that a 4v2 as Cheeks goes down. Everything's happening in the last minute of this round, and it's all left up to Mend and Cash. Mend getting the first pick onto Arv. 2v3 now. Cash and Mend, last two. Cash over and pushing into Bar. Knows there's one somewhere close to Vault, but actually looks like all 3 players of Akron are over by that bus door. Men could plant here in Bar for free. That's exactly what he's going to do. Surma walking in, doesn't see Cash. Cash gets the pick. 2v2 now. Plant's still going down. Jaeger spotted through the mirror window. Gets shot up by Arv, or by Cash rather. And IMAT finished off Cash now down to a 1v1 to the ace, but Mend, the 2v5 from Mend and Cash. IMAT gets the down, but the bomb's already been planted. Great recovery from GCU in this round number 1.
Okie dokie. We've got a match on our hands, folks. It's defense of Villa, and Akron were not able to take the first round. GCU pulling it back. The confidence I talked ad nauseum earlier. I mean, this is exactly what we want to see. We want to see this one come down to the wire, and the fact that GCU just took this opening round, what a sign for their hopes in this one. Akron, They looked fine. They looked pretty typical, clean Akron. They have a pretty composed Aviator in Games defense, and one that takes down the strongest of teams out there. But the play from Cheeks, even though it wasn't enough to fully keep Cheeks alive, at least for the remaining moments of the round, it was enough to clear out games completely. If Amati is going to walk in the room, nobody is going to be willing to contest that, especially when you're nervous of somebody playing quick behind Cheeks, just on that swing. In this case, it was Mend and Cash who were pushing up in the 90 hallway. And once again, They took games control. They got the diffuser down. And because Akron was a little bit isolated and not in any position to stop it, an odd positioning mistake coming out from Akron and costing them the round. GCU, job well done in this first attack. Akron will be heading back, hoping to correct their mistakes on the very same bomb site in round number 2.
Yeah, and if you're GCU right now, your morale is going to be so high. After taking 7 rounds in a row now, they didn't lose a single round on that second half of Clubhouse, rather. And now they've taken their first on Villa. So you've got to be elated if you're Grand Canyon University. And they're looking just to keep that momentum train going. Cheek's still on his Monty. He likes that op. He got a kill last round with it. We'll see if he gets another one. I'm really excited to see how this continues to go. And I'm really excited to see Akron's adaptations. And the first one is going to be killing Meat Stick early and make that a second, though, and make that a third. It's now a 5v2, a complete turnaround of last round. It's now down to Clips and Mend. 2v5, they saw themselves in this last time. It was Cash and Mend last time, but there's still 2 minutes left in the round. It wasn't a last 30 seconds thing. There is so much time left. We've only spent 50 seconds in, and it's now 2v5.
I mean, if you think about a couple of maps ago on Coastline when we saw a 2v5 like this, I mean, with Akron playing like they were and GCU seemingly unable to do much, we would say this is over, right? We would say this is an Akron round. This is already an Akron round. From the start, Akron win this. But the fact that GCU have been able to bring this one back and Akron are starting to make a couple of mistakes here or there, I'm not going to count Klimps and Mend out of this one completely, although it definitely will be unlikely for them to pull this one out, especially if JetCon times this swing well. He won't, unfortunately not catching Klimps during the reload animation, losing about 50 HP and forced to fall back into the bomb site. The call went out probably from the IGL of this Akron team going, hey, stop swinging, just play this passively. We've got the man advantage. They can't do anything if we just sit in the bomb site. It seems that JetCon is not quite feeling that sort of strategy, just darting back and forth towards this main stairs player, in this case that is Klimps, just to be a nuisance, just to force GCU to just sit back and seemingly be unable to move. I mean, just this minimal pressure we are seeing applied from JetCon is enough to stop Klimps and Mend in their tracks, and that shot from Hennessy is certainly enough to keep things spicy as well. Mend is now alone in a 1v5.
Yeah, GCU trying to find that pick that they needed to get things rolling, but unfortunately that pick came against them. Klimps got fried by that mute. And it comes out to a flawless round here from Akron. They adapt well from round 1. I'm not just sitting prone in the hall, wait for that swing from Mend, and it came out. Yeah, good round number 2. Good adaptations coming out from Akron. I assume we're going to be heading to Trophy Sanctuary next.
Yeah, it'll be good to see these other bomb sites, right? We saw that success from Akron, a pretty good adaptation from the first round. The early moments, we saw a lot of aggression, right? IMAT and JetCon, they said, let's just fry some people as they enter the building. Some early aggression and some early plays really gave Akron the advantage from early on. I really do think, excuse me, I do think that the call went out and they said, you know what, guys, let's play like us. We don't have to play like GCU. We don't have to play more disciplined or methodical. Let's play loose. Let's play the Akron way. And I think on Clubhouse, that's where things got a little bit dicey for them. Like on a map like Coastline, it is the least structured map in the game. You can do whatever you want, play loose. On a map like Clubhouse, however, it's not frag heavy. There's very little roam potential on any of the bomb sites. And as a result, Akron were forced to play a little bit tighter than I think they like to play when they're trying to get that confidence back. But when you go to a map like Villa, a map that is notorious for its roaming potential and the ability of defenders to just never be caught out, especially someone like IMAT, who excels on this map. You slap him on the Vigil and he can never be spotted. He'll just sneak around a corner and fry you before your drone knows what hit him. And I think that is what Akron need here to pull them back and get the momentum back in their favor. This is a map that I think really helps them out. If we were on Oregon, I think maybe GCU could have the advantage. But now that we're on Villa, now that we're on a map that is roam, it is IMAT, it is JetCon just sitting in corners and frying you. I think this is exactly where Akron want to be for this decider.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. This map is insane with its roam potential, especially with that basement. It's never used in any bomb site on the map, but it is sure used on that roam potential. You just run down a staircase, hop up at a different part of the map. Especially, you have the red stairs, you have the kitchen stairs, and you have the brick stairs over by Astro. Jekon's though on the aggression. He's actually not going to do any damage, but not take any damage either. So just some shots going back and forth between some friends. Nothing to find just yet, though. I'm at still once again in this basement, as well as Jetcon, perhaps. I believe he went down that plat, and he did. But Cash is down here in the basement waiting. He spots out IMAT, but IMAT wins the engagement. A few more extra shots in the corpse to boot, just to make sure he's not getting up anytime soon. But IMAT winning that first engagement, opening kill in the favor of Akron. And they won their first round in about 30 to 40 minutes last, and they're looking to make it a second on this defense. It is Villa. It's a little bit more defender-sided, so we would expect that. But I'm really excited to see how Akron continues to play this.
I mean, the way that GCU have played this round has been a little bit troubling, right? The coordination issues that they were having on their clubhouse attack might be starting to creep their way back in. Cash was very much alone in a 1v1 with IMAT, with JetCon around the corner. That's not the position even you want your entry fraggers to be in. You want to be somewhere where you can find a refrag, where there's somebody playing within 1-2 seconds of your attacking buddies, where you can go for the swing and go for the trade. The very same problem is going to result in Cheeks' death, as JetCon was simply just waiting quickly and capitalized on an opportunity. And now that the breach has been opened wide, ARV has been allowed to frag out the Vector, landing its shots true, singing onto the head of Klimps. Mend and Meatstick are all that remain. ARV has been taken down, now sitting on his back for the remainder of this round most likely, and Meatstick, he's actually coming up the red stairs, and IMAT says goodbye. ARV actually will be picked up in this round, but his head is going to be spotted out, and that's going to be a good night for Meatstick finally. Men finds one, hoping to bring this one back. Hennessy says goodbye in this round, but JetCon will be the last player of Akron to narrowly escape an almost disaster, we'll call it. Akron nearly lost the coordination on the bomb site, allowing the push in from Men, allowing that push from Meatstick, but at the end of the day, Akron will take the second round in a row.
Yeah, Meatstick and Mend almost had some hero plays there, bringing the round back in their favor. The main thing that sticks out to me, though, is while the drone economy in the early round wasn't bad, it just seemed like they weren't being used. Mend's drones were both gone, so he had no drones, but he was on the top floor with that sledge. But there were 3 people on the bottom floor and the basement. They each had let's say total, they probably had about 4 to 5 drones. That's 4 to 5 drones you could have been droning out the defenders. JetCon was just sitting outside the China door, not a care in the world, not a single drone came with him, and whoever that was that walked into his crosshair was looking up. It was like almost looking towards the statue balcony, or maybe towards the clock cam. Either way, he was looking the opposite direction of JetCon. And JetCon just took his freebie, went on his business up the Astro stairs. So you just have to wonder, where are the drones from GCU? Are they going to come out? Are they going to be used properly? Because while Mend may be droning, once he's out of drones, it doesn't really seem like the rest of GCU is actually doing their due diligence in droning out the map. This is a big map. You need to drone it out to find these defenders. And especially on a kitchen attack like this, you're going to have to do your darndest to clear this map out properly.
I do like the point you bring up, Jagged. Of course, there are a couple of options on attack for this one. You can go for the really methodical, sweaty clear, working your way in from that study side, that south side, and you work your way north. You get into 90 Hall, and you pressure out from there. But look who's here to stop that. It's IMAT, with a camera outside, a jump out, and a Klimps is gone. The IQ will not be able to figure out where the rest of those Valkyrie cams are placed. No Capcan traps will be detected, nor will the heartbeat sensor that Surma is wielding. Of course, that will be assumed that you have a pulse on this site, but without the ability to counter that, it's going to have to be GCU bringing it back by their gun skill and their gun skill alone. Mend is going to make that clear. IMAT, aggressive, tried to go for another swing. This time, it was Mend on the punishing side of that gunfight. So a good adjustment there from GCU, returning that man advantage to even. Losing your Valkyrie for your IQ, I'd say that's about an even trade. Of course, there's a C4 missing that you would like to still have if you're Akron, but you'd also definitely like to have that IQ sensor to utilize through the vertical play that you are probably going to be looking to establish.
And I just got to point out the pure irony that it was that IMAT jumped out on Klimt. It's your Valk on your IQ. IQ supposedly being able to find those cams gets caught out on an information jump out from IMAT. And, like you said, no more IQ scanner. That pulse is going to sit unaffected the rest of the round. Not going to have to be worried about being shot to the floor thanks to that IQ scanner. But JetCon is going to take out Cheeks. So that's your Jackal off the board. Meanwhile, though, Hennessy's been down from that Astra window. Cash knows he's been downed, but he's being careful just to make sure there's no one else. A couple sprays through the wall, don't actually catch him. And Ash Charge is going to go in. Will that get him? No. Hennessy's fallen way back, but he spotted out the drone as well. So now we're just waiting on the swing in here from Cash. He's going to get caught out. He spots the foot, and he's going to finally finish off Hennessy. So even man count as we head into this last minute. Meat Sticks in the bomb site. He finds the mute, finds the kill on the arm. 3v2 now. It's all up to Surma on site. Jetcon, I believe, is still off site. And there goes Surma. Meat Sticks on a double. Here comes Jetcon down the red stairs. Dropped by a Cash, and he finishes off Jetcon. Great recovery from GCU. They lost the opening pick, but they brought it back with the heat.
Wow. GCU making it happen again. Meatstick, definitely the MVP of that round, just found himself in the middle of the bomb site, and despite having an edge in that engagement, Arv just could not make it happen, and the defense just crumbled. Like you said, Jagged, JetCon was off of the bomb site and couldn't really rotate back in time. I'm confused why JetCon chose to play the situation with Cash so passively, right? He knew where the player was on the Astra window rappel. He knew that his teammate was down in trophy, just kind of scooting around on the floor, hoping to avoid an Ash charge or a couple of shots exchanged. And sure, it may have been considered aggressive had JetCon put himself in that position to cut down Cash as the swing came on through, but when you're repelling in a window, that is when one of the most vulnerable positions for an attacker to be. Covering your teammate there, listening for the sound call of the swing, and just swinging around the landing corner and going for the pre-fire. I mean, that round would have certainly changed very, very quickly. Hennessy would have been able to get back in the fight, and Cash would have been dead. It could have all changed with one simple change there from JetCon, and it's just not something that we saw. He's found 5 kills so far, so he's definitely making an impact, but just those small things. Against a team like GCU and the team that they are proving to be here tonight, those small things, they will eventually catch up to you. Hennessy as well, pulling out the cap can. That's always a questionable decision, but on that tertiary bomb site, a C4 is great to have in your hand. That's another thing that Akron didn't do as well as I would have expected. The C4 game. Where was all the intel telling JetCon that Ash was on the Astra Repeller, communicating that to, at the very least, Hennessy? And this, again, there's no intel of the position of Meatstick. It's this time the intel from GCU that is overwhelmingly powerful. IMAT is already gone in this round. JetCon, he's going to be cut down as well. Cash on the roam clear. GCU with a tremendous advantage in round number 5.
Yeah, and you just have to be in awe at that pinch from GCU. They knew exactly what was going on. They knew IMAT was going to be down here. You saw the Jackal tracks come out from Klimt's. IMAT tried to run up the red stairs, but Meatstick was sitting there with the bike wall open, just waiting for him to walk up. And he got the free pick onto IMAT. And JetCon, he gave away his position on those kitchen stairs, had to run back up in the kitchen, but there came Cash with the kill. And now Surma's gotten one trade. Meatstick's off the board, one of your most influential players in this game. But GCU still has the man advantage with half the round to go. There's so much time for them to make this work, and I'm really curious to see what Hennessy's gonna do. He has that bubble as available. JetCon or IMAT's gonna be sitting on it, watching that hallway, telling him when to swing. But here comes Mend on the rappel. C4 goes out. No connection. Doesn't even do a lick of damage to him. Surma, though, is going to try to impact that ace charge. He's not going to get it, though. The impact miss. He's going to get the second one. But the line of sight has already been made. And with a minute left to go, things are looking good for GCU.
I mean, this is exactly where they want to be positioned. They've got a one-man advantage. They've got progress. They've got the gun vault wall, at least a line of sight has been established. Sure, you can't jump on in, but that's a job well done. Instead, Klimt is actually going to smoke that off to prevent Surma from doing much, but the red pings are there, and Surma walks through the smoke. The unexpected play gives Surma the double kill, and now makes GCU a little bit flustered. You've got Cheeks approaching from this landing side. The Astro door is, the Aviator door is likely his target, but you've got Cash, he's here on the games door, and nobody knew it. Arv is gonna be out of this round. Hennessy here to hope to respond, but it's Cash on the triple kill. Surma hoping to pull this one back, but Mend is on the swing. GCU will take round number 5.
Wow, that's all I really have to say right now. GCU playing these attack rounds great. They've taken 3 attack rounds against Akron on Villa. It's looking really good for them. They've already taken the minimum they need and then some going into their defense, and they still have 1 more to boot. They could end their attack half 4-2, and that just leaves them with 3 rounds to win on defense. That is very doable, and if that happens, I have to say, if you're an Akron fan, you got to be really worried, because GCU is in a prime position right now to get ready to take this game. There's still so much of this match left to play, but GCU, they're not giving up. You know the momentum's in their favor, and you know if you're in GCU's voice comms, there is so much going on. You're happy as can be right now.
I mean, you've got to be. I mean, that is a bomb site that last time, the first time GCU took it, but the second time around, Akron came out and delivered a flawless round. To come back on that very same bomb site, and for GCU to just look so composed, even when Surma lined up a big kill, even when it seemed that the cards were stacked against them. GCU, they just figured out exactly what they had to do. They assessed the situation, the drones came out, and they said, wait a minute, Games is kind of available. And the double swing from Cash came on through the door. Arv said goodbye, Hennessy was unable to respond to that swing, and all of a sudden GCU were pulled around. Incredible play from them again. They are now sitting in the advantage, 3-2 on their attacking half on Villa. This is a map that, at the highest levels of Siege, it's mostly that 50-50 split is your average, but if it's not 50-50, your defensive side is going to win out in that 4-2 split instead. But what we're seeing right now from GCU, they are in a position to potentially take an advantage on their attacking half. And I'm not going to count Akron out if that were to happen, but oh my, that would be an amazing place for GCU to be, even just with these 3 rounds, regardless of this last round outcome. They are going to go into their defensive half happy as can be.
Yeah, I think no matter what, for GCU, your spirits are elevated no matter what happens in this round. You've gone at least 3-3 on your attack half. Going into your defensive half, you're looking good. Cash does get taken out early, and Arv gets another one on the Clips. So that's your Jackal and your Ash gone. I actually really like this angle coming out from Arv there. You have the walls of Memo open, and you have the top part of the Dying Walls open. That's going to make it to where it's a little bit difficult to try to get utility off that master bedroom wall, and it proved deadly for Clips and for Cash. But now you did see, I believe, a flank coming down the main stairs from Surma. Cheeks is just sitting inside a Dying now on the IQ, but they need to drone. They have 5 drones left available to use. Mendo is just sitting here inside a master. Gonna try to ace the wall. No more mute jammers. First one's a little bit low. I guess to try to bait out the impact trick, but you know, you've opened a little bit of a line of sight. Actually, no impacts coming out from University of Akron. There's actually 4 nitro cells and an impromptu mirror window late in the round. You don't see that every day. So I'm very excited to see how the rest of this round plays out.
Yeah, this will give this entire defensive team an opportunity to quite literally know exactly where the push is coming from. The only thing they don't know quite yet is Cheeks working his way up the Astro stairs. However, that barbed wire should likely give away his position. There is a mirror window facing that direction as well, so Cheeks is definitely caught out. Oh my goodness, the wall bang on the Jetcon. That's one. Meatstick lines up a second, and GCU have all of a sudden brought this one back. Mend on the swing, gets the kill on Hennessy. That's big. Surma and IMAT, they're now left alone, but Cheeks cuts down IMAT, a double kill for him. Surma now in a 1v3 has to pull this one back, but the G8 goes burr for Cheeks, and GCU will come out of their attacking half in the advantage. 4-2, the first half score.
Oh my, Cheeks just on an absolute rampage that round. Gets the amazing wall bang into the player playing deep inside a trophy and managed to get the mirror to boot before swinging it into statue. There he gets another one onto the player over towards top red and manages to swing it back to find Surma on low HP. But just like an amazing recovery there from GCU. They were down man count early in the round. They were down in that 5v3. But once again, we see they aren't giving up. They're going to continue to push the envelope. Cheeks going in for the aggressive plays. It is finding kill after kill after kill. GCU's playing so well. They come out with a 4-2 in their attack. And honestly, GCU looks so good right now. After that absolute slaughter on Coastline, it wasn't a 7-0, but for the most part, it basically was GCU just, they took a few extra rounds they needed to take, keeping spirits up. And they've just put pedal to the metal in these last two maps. They've played amazing.
I mean, that one was the most impressive in my eyes. That was the first round where they were down bad in that one. They were, it was sitting at a 3v5. They had lost 2 entry picks just walking into kitchen and dining. That is usually not allowed to happen. And when it does happen, that usually means the defensive side is going to win that round almost without question. The fact that GCU, the 3 remaining players, Cheeks especially, the walk up of the Astro stairs, just regrouping, playing that one big, and I think Cash is ready for some more. The jump out, missing some key shots there onto JetCon, but you can see it. You can't see their literal eyes, but you can just tell by the way that they're playing that they are hungry to win this one. They see the opportunity. They see the potential of this. Akron has found themselves on the back foot in this series with the match on the line. On our decider map, on a defensive-sided map, Akron could not win more than 2 rounds to start things off. That jump out from Cash, that only solidifies what I was thinking GCU were feeling right now. Absolutely elated. The confidence just feeling good, ready to finish this one out.
Yeah, it's just got to be flowing through their veins right now. Cash showing it for sure, putting a little bit of fear into JetCon. He loses about a quarter of his HP, but it's really got to make Akron be very diligent and not give anything up. And there goes Cash on another jump out. He's going to finish what he started. JetCon off the board a minute into this round. And wow, if you're in Cash's head right now, it's just a party going on in there. I'm talking streamers, I'm talking balloons. There may be a clown walking around, but it's just happiness right now if you're GCU. Arf takes a little bit of damage from 90, but he's just gonna sit here and fall back. But Cheeks is gonna get IMAT, so now you're in a 5v3 if you're Akron. But a nade comes out from Hennessy, leaving up the man count just 1, but Cash with 2! That's a triple on the round for him. It's all at the Surma in a 1v4. The lineup coming out from Cash. Surma's going to get meat 6, so it's a 1v3. A minute 13 left to work with. He has so much time. He's about half HP, but so does Cash. He has time to make this work, but is it doable?
Oh man, this round, this could be a dangerous turning point for Akron. They had to start off their attacks strong, and Cash has nearly single-handedly denied that. Surma is all alone in a 1v3 situation. There's time to work with. 45 seconds is all that remains. Surma does have a drone to utilize as well if he so chooses, but just can't figure out exactly where he wants to approach from. GCU, they're not messing around here. They're sitting back. They're playing passive. They're not going to bother to give Surma any opportunities to pull this one out. Surma now goes for the swing. A couple of quick peeks over towards Games, nearly connecting with the head of one. Now the gun vault player, that's Men, goes for the swing, and the crossfire is there. Men, a good kill to round out round number 7. And it gives GCU now a 3-round lead. They're sitting at 5-2 on their defensive half on Villa. I think this, I don't want to say it. I don't want to jinx it, so I'm not going to say anything here. But what I can say is that GCU are looking very put together, very confident. Look at that. Cash, 10 kills, 3 of which were found in that last round alone. Akron desperately need to get together right now. They maybe gotta flip their router upside down or something. Maybe they need to take a moment to regroup, rethink how they're approaching this, and work out the kinks in their lineup, because right now there is a big old kink in that rope, and GCU are exploiting it, and they are tearing Akron apart.
GCU just looks unstoppable right now. They're 1 round away from match point. If that happens, Akron's going to have to win 4 in a row just to bring it to overtime. I don't know about you, but that's not a situation I want to be in. I never like being in games where I'm down on match point and it's going to take a miracle to make it to overtime, especially on the attack side of Villa. You're expected to get 2, maybe 3 rounds, but to try to bring back another 4 like GCU did, that's almost unheard of. And we're going to have to see Akron try to bring it back. They're down 2-5 right now. It's only round 8, so they have time to work with, but that time is running out so fast. I'm interested to see how this next round goes, because if it doesn't go in Akron's way, I'm almost ready to call the map at that point. I'm not ready to call it yet, but we're getting close to it.
Well, starting things off here, this time it's Akron with the first entry blow. This time it is IMAT utilizing that C7E on the Jackal, and Meatstick, hoping to get aggressive, will not be allowed to do so. Now identifying the location of the Vigil. Again, it's Cash, hoping to find some pretty big deal early impact frags, but that Jackal track has forced him to fall back to sight, at least for the time being, rotating back to the safety of Trophy, Statuary, and Master. IMAT is still working his way through the map, but look at this. I mean, IMAT is alone. I mean, this, of course, is your big entry fragger. This is your big player, but you gotta support him. Put a drone at his feet. Not as his drone. Give someone else droning him on in. Just these little things that I think Akron normally take for granted. In this situation, they have to look back and say, you know what, we have to actually play a little bit more coordinated than usual. Maybe our loose style of play, the fact that it's not working, they have to play this a bit more traditional, a bit more composed, disciplined, methodical, whatever you want to call it. Akron are just not able to chain some big frags together here. Normally we'll just see them walk on in and just pick heads right now, and they have been able to do so, at least in this round. They've already done so onto Meatstick, and they're starting to work their way on this pressure. Oh my goodness, men! The ballsiest swing imaginable. Despite being scanned by the Jackal, he'll go for the swing and he'll take down Arv. That is your lone hard breacher, your ace off the board.
Yeah, IMAC does get a trade on the Eclipse, but the damage has been done. Arv is dead. Those master walls aren't going to be open. And IMAC now taken down by the Vigilant Cash just sitting around in bedroom. We're at an even man count again. There's still a minute to go, and 2 defenders are down HP. Cash being extremely lit. Surma's on the LMG again. We saw him do wonders with it in the first map. But GCU's managed to take a bad situation and make it better. That was an absolute ballsy swing by Ment. He was being Jackal scanned. He had an absolute wonderful flick onto that ace of Arv. I'm not exactly sure why Arv was holding that angle. It could have been someone else like the Sophia Jetcon or the Gridlock of Surma on that flank watch, because I'm wondering why that ace of Arv wasn't trying to open up some walls. Whether it was the Aviator Games wall or it was the Master wall. But Jetcon's pushed into sight, but he goes prone, but at a poor time because Men takes 1 out, Cheeks takes another out. It's all left up to Surma with that LMG that I was talking about earlier, but it's not going to matter. Cash finishes off Surma. GCU is on match point.
Not only that, they're on match point on defense on Villa, and against a team that seemingly has no idea how to beat them. The map 1, the coastline Akron is gone. They're out of this lobby, and they haven't been here for quite a while. Even on their defensive half, they weren't as strong as we would have expected. And on their attacking half, where it was time for them to put the pedal to the metal, where they needed to chain some rounds together, it is falling apart, and now they have to win 4 in a row. They have to win 4 completely unanswered rounds, and I think this team is just not going to let that happen. GCU, despite Klimps just, dragging those frags down, a nice 0 little goose egg bomb at the bottom of that leaderboard. I mean, it simply doesn't matter. The team play is there. The comms, they've got to be spicy. They've got to be hyped, and they are just playing well right now. This is a GCU play style that we've seen before, but it's been weeks, I think, since GCU have felt this good, have looked this good. I mean, just most recently, GCU got pretty much steamrolled by NCSU, and the fact that they have come out so strong, obviously having Cash back on the roster helps, but they're coming out strong here, and it is, again, and so impressive to see. I mean, I don't want to sound like we're beating a dead horse here, but if you're new to the community, or new to the scene, just got to remind you how impactful this victory would be. Akron, a team that hasn't lost in a year, that barely ever loses a single map, and it is about to lose on a map that really lends itself to their very play style. GCU absolutely running away with this one. Cash, again, the aggressive push, trying to find some spawn kill action there, but unable to do so early on.
And I feel like we just keep coming back to it. And like you said, I don't want to be a dead horse, but GCU in the last back half of this match, from the second half of Clubhouse onwards, they've looked unstoppable. They've played amazing. They won 6 in a row on Club to win the map. They've won 6 so far here on Clubhouse after taking 4 of their attack. For the last hour and a half, they've just looked unbeatable. It's so good to watch. Akron, Titans in the scene. They're about to lose. They haven't lost yet. They have rounds to work with, but they need to start the comeback right here and right now. They do not have time to waste. They don't have rounds to waste.
Well, they're going to start to pull things back here. They've only burned a minute. They're getting a good bit of traction, and they're starting to clear out at least this horizontal pressure. There's almost no pressure mounting from Akron, at least vertically for now. It's all coming from this southeast, this southwest side of the map, and I don't know if this is the play I'm at on the isolated 1v1 gunfight. 10 HP versus 100. Cash winning out the gunfight and putting Akron on the back foot here. Men is going to take a bit of damage, so it's not over yet. And Akron are still looking to make this one happen. But their decision to play horizontal, it's a dangerous one to make in a situation like this. It's going with the more unorthodox play. You ignore vertical, but that allows the defenders to play some vertical themselves. That's going to come in a bit later. For now, it's this horizontal pressure now mounting from Hennessy. Cheeks escaping the red frag grenade indicator on his HUD. He's going to tuck away and avoid that, but Mend is going to collect one. A C4 onto Surma. Hennessy now alone on this side. This engagement is going to be big. If Cheeks can be felled here, that would be a good way to neutralize this, but if Cheeks can win out this gunfight and force Hennessy from, oh my goodness, here comes Meat Stick, denies Arv. Hennessy does win out the gunfight, I pointed out just a moment ago, but how much does it really matter? It's a 2v3, and there's only 30 seconds to go. All alone, Hennessy in the middle of the bomb site, looking for something here, looking in dining, nobody there, looking in memo, nobody there, and the diffuser is out of pocket. Everyone has their eyes on it, everyone on the GCU side, and they're ready to shut this down. Hennessy, the individual push, hoping to catch out Mend here. A frag grenade, not able to do it. Mend lining up the shot with the SMG-11. It is now a 1v3 for JetCon. Has to clutch this up, but the shots from behind. It is Meat Stick. GCU pull out the win and will defeat Akron.
They always say West Coast is best coast. GCU proving it right here against their central counterparts of University of Akron. Akron already out of the lobby, but GCU played so well tonight. You cannot underscore that enough. GCU's playing lights out, and it was just amazing. On fire tonight. Akron, they looked great on Coastline. They looked great on the first half of Clubhouse, but from there on out, they just couldn't bring it back. And GCU just took advantage of it every second they could. And that's the first loss that Akron's received in 10 plus months. That's gotta be, it's just something else. It's just something else.
I mean, since I've been in the collegiate world, I mean, it feels like I've been here a while, but in reality, I haven't. I've never seen Akron lose. I've only seen them lose one map ever in a game I casted. And since then, they have been this team that just nobody can beat ever. Seemingly just impossible. And GCU have done the impossible. And it's like I don't feel relieved. I feel terrible for Akron here because that undefeated streak was so cool. But it's like it's not an era hasn't ended. Consistency, that's a thing in collegiate. Everyone's going back and forth. But like this is just a tremendous moment for GCU. One that they are going to look back always and be extremely proud of.
Oh, for sure, man. GCU, the first team to take down Akron in almost a year. That's That's a story in and of itself. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. GCU taking down Akron is going to be the story all over the timeline tonight, and I'd say for the next week or so. Akron, they do a lot of work in collegiate. They're the Titans of collegiate. They're the most decorated team out there. They also have been doing a number of things in T3. They've been looking really well. They lost a couple of games in the last week and a few qualifiers, but that's really not big of an issue. They hadn't lost in collegiate in almost a year. That's just insane to think about. The last time you really see that sort of dominance was the SSG clubhouse streak. It went from July of 2019 all the way to like this time last year. It was like an 8-month streak of just clubhouse wins, and you know, Akron had just pulled that same off, but on an entire league wide scale in collegiate. It's just something else to think about.
I mean, it is again incredible to see on Villa. I mean, the story of that map. It started off mixed. It started off back and forth, but if you've watched Akron play Villa before, you just I mean, immediately there was a difference in what I'm accustomed to seeing. Because I'm accustomed to seeing them just roll people. They barely lose a round, and anytime they do, it feels a lot like a fluke. But the rounds that GCU were able to take there to start their attack off, that first round, I mean, just setting the pace for the entire map is so impressive. Akron just did not look as composed as they normally do. A couple of pretty significant misplays that we're just not used to seeing. It happened in round one, and while they corrected those mistakes, they fixed those things up and they started to work it back. GCU, the first time we've really seen them go on the adaptability train that I talk so much about. When they did it, when they pivoted and really came into that groove, Akron just could not find an answer. Normally I give an adaptability spiel, let's call it. And most people who've heard me cast before have probably heard the spiel. And it goes something like this, right? You have to adapt in the middle of a game, in between rounds, in the middle of a round, in between maps. It's so important, and it's what separates those average teams from the better teams from the best teams. And I've always said that Akron has the ultimate ability to adapt. They are just so skilled at changing up their strategies on the fly, never doing the same thing twice, throwing a wrench in the gears and forcing their opponents to change up something which most teams are incapable of doing. But tonight, the storyline was different. For the first time I've seen ever, Akron were not able to change up their strategy. Something was wrong. They were flustered and they just could not get those cohesive changes and those cohesive on the fly pivots that we've seen so far. Appreciate you letting me go on that rant, Jagged. But the good thing is, we've got our interview ready. We've got Clips from GCU in the building ready to break this one down. Clips, welcome.
What's up,
Huge
guys?
congratulations on your
Whew.
victory. Tell me how you're feeling. Just give me your initial thoughts.
Oh my gosh, man. I mean, I don't even know. Like we beat Akron. Like we beat the team that hasn't been beaten like 9 months. Like it's crazy. And so like we know how good we are. You know, we've had some rough games the last couple weeks. We've lost some games that we shouldn't have lost. We won some games that we should have won, and we've won some games we shouldn't have, like today. But I guess we do deserve it. But it's a crazy win. It's crazy when we have our full roster, all five of us playing. You know, now everyone knows we're a scary team. We're scary to prove. I had no idea we'd be sitting in this position after Coastline. That's for sure. After how that map went. So
Well, Jagged, I will let you start off the questions.
All right, my first one, we saw you play NCSU on Wednesday over for CEA. It wasn't a great game from y'all. How did you manage to go from that game on Wednesday to coming out, taking all 6 of your clubhouse defenses and beating out Akron tonight? How did that happen?
I mean, those guys played. Hats off to them. Akron played insane. That team's insane. You know, we're still terrified of them. I think everyone is. IMAT's insane. You know, all those guys over there, Jet, Arv, all those guys are nuts. But we just kind of prepared. We were just, we were kind of defeated. We were like, okay, we need something because our season's not going the way we want. We have 2 losses in CEA right now. CR6, we're doing good at least. But still we're like, hey, let's get something going here. And this is a way to do it. Smurf popped off. Oh my goodness, that guy. I told him unbound your tab key. I literally told him don't look at the scoreboard the whole game, unbound your tab key, go off. And Clubhouse, I think he had 15. So totally carried us through that game. So hats off to Smurf. He's looking for e-girls. So shout out to that guy.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's just oh man, that's just great. Y'all played absolutely amazing. My last question, and then I'll throw it over to Jay Z. Is what was your mindset going into tonight? Because obviously you let Coastline go through. Coastline, one of Akron's best maps. What was your thought process going into the game tonight?
It was just one of those maps where like, you know what, we're not good on any other map. At least we can get a shot on Coastline on like the map that we banned theme park. We just cannot play that map. And we're like, you know what? Maybe we'll throw it back to Face It Playoffs. Maybe they'll go to Consulate. They didn't do that. They didn't want any part of that because that was scary enough for them. And for us too, we didn't really like that map either. And we were kind of bantering about it in the beginning, but we were just ready. I think we were all just ready to gun. I dropped a donut on that last map, but man, I was just having so much fun, enjoying it, and just hats off to my team. Like those guys are insane, played their butts off. Like it's crazy.
All
Well,
right,
well,
Jay Z,
Clem's,
what do you have?
yeah. Clem's, a pleasure to have you in the booth. I did not think I'd be talking to you
I
after
did
this
not either,
matchup.
man. I had no clue, dude. If this was,
Yeah.
I've always had this like internal feeling like we're gonna be the one team that's gonna beat Akron first. Like I had a feeling. I've had a feeling for this long time. Like I've always been like a part of different things in my life that we've always been like the one group, like whatever I'm a part of. For some reason, we're that one group that just does the thing that no one else does, and then we continue to be excellent. So hopefully we can continue to do that. And man, just those guys played a crazy game. Akron again, they're nuts. Everyone knows they're still hands down the best team. Um, but now everyone knows they're beatable. And so hopefully some other teams can take inspiration, watch this game, and see how to beat Akron.
Well, I desperately want to let you go celebrate with your team. I'm gonna hit you with a couple of questions before that, though.
That's fine.
Tell me, so you mentioned Coastline, right? You mentioned the
Yeah.
absolute obliteration there. But don't forget, I mean, you were down 5-1 on Clubhouse after getting
Yeah.
absolutely slaughtered. So tell me, like, what happened? How did you go from 5-1 on Club? What was there a big change? Did you say, hey guys, we have to change XYZ? What was the big thing that you focused on changing that led to 6 rounds unanswered?
Honestly, we know we're a really good attacking team, and so when we were down that far on club, we were like, wow, this is a struggle. Like this is not our club. And so we got over to defense and we got the first round and we are like, okay, this is our momentum. This is what we need. Like if we just keep building rounds, keep building up off of this, and we did. And we kept building up off these rounds, and eventually, we just hit it on the head and we just went nuts. And Smurf just, I mean, completely carried us. Through that. Cash was 0-6 in the beginning of that map, and he went off in the end on defense and stuff. So his performance definitely helped us. Cheeks was doing really well as well. Consistently throughout. He always likes to, mention he's the only one that can perform against Akron on our team. Well, I think we've seen some others today that definitely performed. But man, like it's crazy. It's just insane to think that this is
Yeah.
surreal.
Of course. And the last thing I'll ask, you did allude to this a little bit earlier. I hate to bring it up, but dropping that fat donut
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Villa. Just
yeah.
tell me, I don't need to know why it happens, but what I want to know is seeing how well your team was performing, right, and seeing how well they were doing even without you lighting up the scoreboard, obviously contributing in other ways. How do you personally like remedy that negative feeling, and how do you support your team through that and still make that positive contribution?
I was just so hype for that game. That entire game was just like probably the most fun I've had playing competitive Rainbow and stuff. So, like, we knew this is the game of the year. This is like one of the biggest games we'll get to play. We get to meet Akron and CEA 2 weeks later, so we know that that's in our heads already. We're already getting ready for that. Um, but I take it as Colo last semester, really big hype guy, really hypes our team up. He still comes into Cheek's room and like goes and yells at him, hypes him up and stuff. Um, but man, like I like to, think that maybe I help a little bit hyping us up, screaming. I scream in my mic all the time, just getting hyped, getting happy. get the boys excited and juicing them up. And Smurf, I was all over him. That clubhouse map and on Villa and on
Yeah.
I was on Cash too. Like I don't know. I wasn't really like I had no clue I was negative and I was like oh and whatever until like halfway through Villa. Like until like that side switch, I had no clue I had no kills.
Yeah.
So I try to not think about it. And we go and we do our thing. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, the last thing before we close things out quickly, I'll pass the mic to you. Allow you to shout out your teammates who you've already talked about, your supporters, your organization, anyone who you'd like to allow you to achieve the impossible.
thanks to GCU letting us, go and support the team, esports wise and stuff. And, all the guys, Sam, Smurf, Cash, Cheeks, even the guys on the back end, Dez, Cole, Blarold, all those guys, nuts. We love them. They help us so much. And, shout out to everyone that was out here supporting. I know it was a pretty big stream, like 100 viewers, I think. So that's a good stream. And man, we're just shout out to the whole community and thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for tuning in. And hopefully we can perform more for you guys soon.
All right. Well, Clems, a pleasure to have you in the booth, and hopefully we'll look forward to seeing you guys next time. Have a fantastic night.
Alrighty, thank you guys.
All right,
GG's.
peace out.
All right, guys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been quite a night, and if you're joining us, I mean, congratulations to you as well. You witnessed something that not many people get a chance to see. Akron losing a series, GCU taking them down. Very impressive stuff. Akron will definitely still be at the top of everyone's minds as the best collegiate team out there, but GCU have definitely proven tonight that they are also one of the big names to be reckoned with, and that Akron can indeed be beat. That's the end of the night for me, but not for CollegiateR6. Jagged will still be here. Chief is joining him in the booth for our next match, starting in about 10 minutes. So until then, we will take a quick break, but stick with us. We've got another impressive series coming up next. Be right back.